Good morning to all of our citizens and all of our commissioners and administrative officials. We're blessed to be in these proceedings this morning on the 14th of April, 2015. We also would like to have a special welcome to the Reverend Ted Stackpole, pastor of the First Assembly of God, who will lead us in our invocation, and our own Commissioner Pelletier will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Let's all stand together.
Dear God, we thank you for another wonderful day to live and move and have our being in you. In you we find everything that is necessary for life, liberty, and happiness. In you we find all wisdom, knowledge, and answers. In you we find unity, harmony, and synergy. And today I declare over this commission that the mind of Christ will bring forth your perfect will in every piece of business addressed. That unity will ultimately cause any potential personal agendas to be disregarded, that the desire to do what is right will bring great weight to each decision, that you will help them to conduct their business in a reasonable time frame, that they will find peace and joy in the work that they conduct. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved Putnam County. In the most blessed name of Jesus the Christ, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Commissioners, each of you should have received the March 24th, 2015 regular meeting minutes, asking for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Proper motion. Second. Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Item 3, Employee of the Quarter recognition, Jake Tollett, Emergency Services Firefighter Paramedic. Mr. Leary.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to ask Jake to come forward and meet the chairman at the podium, please. Jake is a paramedic with the Emergency Medical Services. Jake began his career with the county in 2008. Jake has been selected for this recognition by a committee of his peers based on his selection from nominations based on his work ethic, his performance, and his quality of care to patients. And so we want to congratulate you, Jake, for this recognition.
On behalf of the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners, Employee of the Quarter awarded to Jake Tollett in recognition of exemplary services for a quarter ending June 30th, 2015, awarded the certificate from Putnam County Board of County Commissioners given this 14th day of April, 2015. Again, we thank you for your professionalism and just being the hero in our county and making things better for us all.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you. And to go along with that is just a small token of appreciation.
Thank you very much. It's a great birthday present. Celebrate my 40th birthday this weekend. So,
Congratulations, Jake. Thank you.
Congratulations, and to the rest of the team as well.
thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Item 4 on this morning's agenda, proclamation recognizing April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Ms. Sandra Hartley, Community in Schools. Ms. Community in Schools represented. Thank you so much for asking Commissioner.
I'm going to bring the healthy
Bring everybody you need to bring that's concerned about prevention of child abuse. Please come. Yes, come right to the center here. And our very own Commissioner Nancy Harris is prepared to present this proclamation.
Okay. Recognizing April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone in the community. And whereas 165 children in Putnam County were verified as having been abused during the period of January 2014 through December 2014. And whereas child abuse causes significant trauma to the abused child and society, inflicting upon children serious illness and injury, resulting in physical, intellectual, and emotional impairment and death. And whereas abused children are at much greater risk of becoming abusive parents. And whereas children need and deserve a safe place to learn and grow, free from threats of violence and harm. Whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the meaningful connections and partnerships created between child welfare, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, and law enforcement agencies. And whereas communities make every effort to promote programs and activities that benefit children and their families, and whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Putnam County Board of Commissioners hereby declares the month of April 2015 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Putnam County, and urges all its citizens to support and participate in any events recognizing this worthwhile cause. Be it further resolved that the Board of County Commissioners participates in and supports all persons making a conscientious effort to prevent child abuse.
We have a motion, Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Okay, I make the motion.
Oh, you didn't make it first.
Thank you. We do have a proper motion and a second. Further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Congratulations, and thank you all so much for your leadership in our community and in our county. Oftentimes, we read the stats, and we're not in denial. We do understand that there are significant issues that are happening not only in our local community, but throughout this nation. But to have leaders such as you all that are standing here before us this morning gives us hope, and it instills a lot of pride in our hearts and to know that our community is better and will continue to be better through your leadership. So thank you again.
Thank you. Could I leave? I can't miss an opportunity, just one opportunity, okay? We started this month off a little bit early. Children around the community made hands for the Hanging of the Hands event that started this week in Tallahassee. I would say to you that our counties are represented. Putnam was, again, the outstanding county. We strung no less than probably 800 hands. So we got all shapes and sizes. We let them draw it this year instead of cutting them out for them. We have little hands, and we have some that look like could be Sasquatch hands, you know. But the kids had a ball. They decorated them, put messages on them to children. And so, excuse me, if you go to Tallahassee this week, they're hung in the rotunda, all around in the rotunda, just thousands and thousands of hands from all over the state saying, pay attention to the kids. Also, I'm going to leave this for you. This is a press release that we sent out telling you some things that we're doing. Friday was Wear Blue Day. If you haven't done that as a group, you might think about it. Take a picture of yourself and send it in to us. We're putting all the Wear Blues. I know I don't have it on today, but I wore it Friday and some days last week. We're also doing a diaper drive this entire month. Those diapers will go to the Healthy Start program for the children that need diapers, the parents that need diapers. Infants and toddlers, unfortunately, fall victim to child abuse because they're in a diaper all day long, and a parent gets frustrated. Well, the child is frustrated because they're in one diaper. They cry, and the parents pick them up and shake them. So that is one of our leading causes of child abuse in small babies. So last year we did a diaper drive. We had an excellent turnout. I believe we're going to have an excellent one again this year. I've given you this flyer. This tells you where the locations are. We would love it if the county would put a box or the employees would get on board and just buy a pack pack of diapers, stash them somewhere, and as the stat gets high, give us a call and we'll come get them. So we've got a lot going on. We got blue pinwheels at the district office. We have some more blue pinwheels that we'll be putting out a little bit later in the month. So we appreciate your support. You guys and gals always support us. We know we can count on you. You are the lead in this, really, for us. So we appreciate you. I'm going to let Karen, this is Karen Wolf. She's with the babies. She's Healthy Start. Lacey Coleman is with the health department, with the Healthy Families. And then I'm going to let you folks go down and introduce your folks here.
I'm Mary Garcia. I'm the administrator of the Florida Department of Health in Putnam County. And with us, we've got some of our team from our Healthy Families program.
I'm Katrina Washington, Family Support Worker. Kathy Wright, Family Assessment Worker. Wanda Jones,
And some shy ones in the back.
And Tammy Ford is, she's
Oh, there she
she's
is.
always with me. We're kind of like, I don't even want to say it. We're like, there's a whole bunch of people.
They're a
Tom and
fabulous
Jerry.
team, the two of them.
So, yeah.
Right.
So we've come together. There are two partners here that we don't have that I would be remiss in not mentioning. And that's the Sheriff's Department, because they're our first responders to some of these things. And they're represented. Yeah. And the Guardian Ad Litem program, which once they go into some type of custody, that advocate really works hard for them.
That's right.
So it's a team. It has to be a team. One of us can't do it by ourselves. So we feel like we make a pretty good team here in this community.
Can I say one thing? Okay. I just wanted to say that, and I'm with Healthy Start, and we cover all the counties in the state of Florida. Actually, the program is in 67 counties in the state. The services are free. And last year in Putnam County, it was our first drive, and we actually raised over $1,200 in diapers for our very first time. And it was a lot of diapers to a lot of families. It doesn't matter the size. They can be from newborn to size, what are they, or 5 or 6. Now, these ladies work directly with the families. I'm like Sandra. I just try to get out and let people know what the program is all about. So any donation is grateful. Thank you.
Okay, photo. Yeah, I hate this,
I know you noticed. Sandra, good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very kindly. 5 on this morning's agenda, proclamation, April Water Conservation Month in Florida. Commissioner Liple.
Do we have anybody representing?
We have either of our 2 water districts represented. We will make sure that,
Represent them?
yes,
Let's do it.
by all means.
Okay, we're going to, April is naming as Water Conservation Month in the state, and I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas clean, safe, and sustainable water resources are vital to Putnam County's residents, visitors, economy, and environment. And whereas droughts, development, and population growth serve as reminders that Florida's ground and surface water resources, such as rivers, lakes, and springs, are finite and fragile. And whereas permanent year-round water conservation measures are in effect throughout the St. Johns River Water Management District. And whereas Putnam County supports and promotes the efficient use of Florida's water resources. And whereas local governments are essential in assisting in promoting water conservation awareness and implementing water conservation measures. And whereas every agricultural operation, business, industry, school, residents, and visitor can help by conserving water and thus promote a healthy economy and community. Whereas every citizen can help save water by following the district's year-round water conservation measures and conserving water both indoors and outdoors. Whereas water conservation will continue to play an important role in the future protection and preservation of ground and surface water resources. And whereas the state of Florida traditionally designates April as Water Conservation Month, now therefore be it proclaimed that the Putnam County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims April 2015 as Water Conservation Month in Putnam County. Done, ordered, and adopted this 14th day of April 2015, and I'd like to offer that in the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a proper motion and a second for both proclamations. One is addressed to Swanee River Water Management District. One is addressed to the St. Johns River Water Management District, so that Putnam County is total. Further discussion?
No, sir.
At time to consider, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very kindly. Item 6 is the public comment portion of our agenda that's designed for our citizens to present opportunities or matters to us, bring matters to our attention. It's not reasonable to expect the commission to engage in debate or deliberation about matters that we don't have prior information on or don't have information presented to us. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes, and we also ask that if you are speaking to a specific item on the agenda, please give us the courtesy of getting to that item on the agenda, and if your card indicates so, we will recognize you at that time. Under public comments, we have our first speaker, Ms. Phyllis White, organization West Putnam Save Our Children. Please come forward. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Phyllis White. I'm the recent president of the West Putnam Save Our Children. It's a nonprofit organization that hopefully we represent not just the children, but the community of the West Putnam area. And my sole purpose today is just to introduce myself as the West Putnam Save Our Children president, familiarize myself with everyone in the county, and hopefully we find out what county procedures are. We are citizens that should be responsible to the county as well as the county is to us. We want to know what resources is out there for us, what we can do to make our area more profitable, add some livelihood to the community, some education, and just to get to know who's responsible for us as the county, for the county, and what we can do to make the West Putnam and Putnam County a better area.
Okay. Ms. White,
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming and introducing yourself. We certainly will make sure that staff-wise as well as legislatively that you have the contacts of how to reach various departments depending on what the specific needs that are being addressed at a specific time. But it's nice that you would come and let us know that as president that you are making sure that not only the organization is sound, but that the community is vibrant and doing what needs to be done. We love partnerships, and we'll do our best to strengthen the relationship.
Okay. And I just want to say thank you for the past where you all had came out and addressed all that, tried to help us with all our issues and all that. So it is greatly appreciated, and to let you know it has not gone unnoticed. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you so much. Mr. Rick Haven, are all of your questions related to agenda item J, or is it some other comment?
I've got a question now.
Come forward, please.
I would like to speak again on J.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I've got some questions. Last year, we found out that on the landfill issue that there were some 430 homes and apartments with the Palatka Housing Authority. What are they now paying for landfill and garbage fees?
Okay, again, that question is a question that if you had given us prior to the meeting, we would have answers for you.
Well, okay, let me put it this way. There were supposed to be negotiations, right? Currently, they were only going to want to pay $78. The rest of us are paying $395. Has that been resolved? Are those 430 some homes just paying the $78?
Mr. Leary, do you
There's
have an
been no
update?
resolution to that issue.
There's
I think
still
they're
no
currently
resolution
paying
to that
$89.
issue.
We're almost a half a year since our tax bills came out. Okay, Carl, a question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you still have a contract with Putnam County to transport dead bodies to St. Johns County?
No, sir.
Okay, my misunderstanding.
What is the misunderstanding, Mr. Hayes?
Pardon?
What is your misunderstanding?
Well, I understood that you and Serenity Funeral Home had a contract with Putnam County to transport bodies to St. Johns County or elsewhere.
Okay. That is a historical relationship that existed for a number of years, and we did not bid on the contract that the county is engaged in right now through Masters Funeral Home, who has an exclusive contract for that service.
Okay, thank you.
You're more than welcome, sir.
Mr. Leibel, question for you, sir. Back in 2010, I believe you received $10,000 in CRA funds for your business. We later found out that you were not eligible to receive them. Has that been repaid?
The amount is false, and nobody ever told me but you that was illegal. I'm a downtown business, been there 64 years, and it was open to the public through the city of Palatka for any existing business. And it wasn't $10,000.
Okay, you were at a meeting at the Tea Party back in 2011, I believe. The item was brought up. Somebody at the time said yes. We found out later that it was illegal, but they hadn't found an avenue for you to repay the funds.
Okay, if it's illegal, let me know, sir, through the proper channels.
Okay.
Ready.
And by the way, that is through the city of Palatka, not Putnam County.
Right, but you were also serving on the CRA board at the time.
And I did not attend any of the meetings as suggested by the city attorney when any of these proposals were being voted on, and I believe that's going back some time. I was not on there till shortly after it was awarded. I'm not sure on that, though, but if you want to check it out, go ahead.
All right, I will check on that further. Ms. Harris, do you still currently have a realtor's license with Ben Bates, and the same Ben Bates who placed the first vote yes on the Better Place plan in the Palatka Daily News?
I do have a real estate license with Ben Bates.
Okay.
Ben Bates did publish an ad to support the Better Place plan independently.
Okay.
I told him I was pleased that he did that and thanked him.
Larry, I recently related to you in an incident of being slandered by Don Jacobowitz, Director of Public Works. We recently heard in this chamber from residents of Hicks Drive and Fruitland of the director's attitudes toward them. Will there be any reprimand for his attitude?
I don't know that. I wasn't at that meeting, and that's handled by our staff.
Okay, but we had an email exchange about that.
You did email me, and I emailed you back. Yes, I did.
All right. Then I'll ask Mr. Flagg, will there be any reprimand for the Director of Public Works for his attitude? He publicly called me a liar. Ms. Harris was in earshot of it. Janet Smith was standing there. We were talking to a couple in the parking lot of the Crescent City Library.
Okay, let me disclose to you that this is new to me, what you're speaking about. And if you had an issue with a director who works for Putnam County, then the proper person to have been notified would have been Mr. Rick Leary, our administrator. Did you notify his office, or did you write an email? Did you send an email to him?
No, I'm talking to you. This is...
Process and procedure would be that Mr. Jacobovich and any other director in this county answers to the county administrator. And I want some order in this room, please. Please. Thank you so much. We're going to give everyone the courtesy of speaking their piece on all issues. But in county government, the way government is set up, we are legislators. And sometimes it's a tough balance for us because we want to have our hands in a lot of different areas. And the truth of the whole matter is the oath of office that we take says that we're going to follow the rules. And so the proper method for this to happen so that the facts are not distorted or twisted is that you would share with the administrative office of this county what transpired so that he could give Mr. Jacobovich an opportunity to express his version of what happened, and then he would take the necessary action. It is his job to issue any reprimands and anything administratively for this county.
Is it not true that all the employees of the county, including Mr. Castleberry and Mr. Leary, serve at your pleasure?
The department heads are hired by the administrator of this county, and we can get into that discussion if you want one-on-one. We can deal with that, but we're not making up new rules here. We don't hire county employees.
Okay. All right. Lastly, I do want to speak on number 6, or on agenda J.
When we get to that item,
all right. Thank you.
We'll call you back. If you stay tuned 1 second, Commissioner Harris does have a comment.
I did not hear your conversation with Mr. Jacobowitz. After the meeting was over and you all were in the parking lot, I heard your raised voice, but I didn't understand what was being said. We walked up right after that.
Okay, thank you so much for that sharing of information. Thank you. We'll be calling you back, Mr. Haven, for the next time. Ms. Joyce Miller, you're next on the agenda. Good morning.
Good morning. Please excuse my appearance this morning. I've been to the gym.
It's a good thing.
Good for you.
It was either not go to the gym and come to the commission dressed, or go to the gym and come like I am. So I chose to take care of my health a little bit and let you know how very pleased I am that the Better Place ban passed. It was hard to do the first time it passed, and it was a little bit hard this time. But the good people of Putnam County came out knowing all the good things that had happened through the Better Place plan. I also have heard that people were saying that the commission bought the signs for promoting the Better Place plan. I am here to tell you they did not. So thank you, Commission, for putting it on the ballot, and now it's good until I will be 102 years old.
God bless you.
And I hope I'll be here to help pass it again.
We'll be looking for you.
Bless you.
We will. And
thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you, Mrs. Miller. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Neil Letts.
Morning.
Good morning.
Going to talk about the solid waste disposal history, and 1,000 ton per day solid waste import proposal rationale was presented in the Palatka Daily News in April 2014 and rejected. This included Mr. Leary, Mr. Castleberry, and Mr. Gast. I attended both the first and second research committees come up a year later, and it looks to me, although we'll hear it tonight, that we're going to have 700 tons imported. The meetings were run by Mr. Gass and a moderator apparently hired by the county. Proper solid waste management means reduction in volume and control of toxins by 4 possible methods. Composting is the aeration of mulch into humus. In other words, you expose the mulch, the ground up wood and yard waste and food waste, and expose it to the air, and it comes out, it's reduced to humus. Humus is an inactive, nice fertilizer type product. If you put wood and food waste and yard waste underground, you immediately get acids, ammonia, benzene, and methane. So you cannot put organic waste underground. So composting means keeping wood, paper, yard, and food waste and exposing it to the air bacteria, and then you return it up and you expose it to air. If you bury it, again, you get the toxins. Now, there's some misconceptions that have been promoted by county management that increased landfilling will make money for the county. I think that's going to be a horrible mistake if it happens. Landfill must be either kept open or closed, but outside sources assure us it can be kept open and dormant. All it needs is monitoring. It does not have, you don't have just open or closed, you got dormancy. There's another word for it. The mining was supposedly done for benzene remediation. Actually, it was a taxpayer-supported in anticipation of expanded landfilling. It was a thing to create airspace so we could store more garbage. Now, another one is that we've been told that ground wood, yard waste, paper for cover is a biofilter for extraction of methane. This is sort of nonsense unless you put it on top of a closed landfill and turn it over, and then the aeration process, which is really composting. You're composting on top of the landfill, and so anything that comes out of the ground like benzene and, well, mostly ammonia and methane is burned up in the same process. It takes all this carbon and the wood and paper, and it turns it into carbon dioxide and water. Now, composting, we do not compost in this county. Mulch just means you grind up anything, including plastics, rubber, and organic stuff. You just grind it up. That's all that mulch is.
Please summarize.
Humus is the end product, which is inert. Another thing that we've been told about landfill must be sold. The interim people interested in this to tell me that landfill does not have to be sold and for them to get involved. In other words, we could keep our landfill. One thing that really bothers me is everybody gives me a blank stare when I talk about this 2% recycling rate. That's 4 tons out of 200 tons a day we collect, is being taxed to taxpayers at $1 million a year, which is $1,000 a ton. And everybody just says, who cares, you know?
Mr. Letts,
really
30 seconds, please. 30 seconds, please.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, we're going to be sure that you do.
Well, county commissions come and go, but Mr. Leary is borrowing and spending this county into bankruptcy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Webster Marlowe, you are the next speaker. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Webster Marlowe. I live at 120 Kirkland Street. I've been a resident here for 28 years, I believe. But my question is this the 21st century? It appears that we want to continue doing what was done in the 19th century. That's landfill.
We're not sure.
It's time we change.
Okay.
Now, back in 1956, I went into a new business. Nobody knew what it was. I made plastic bags. I don't think there's anybody here old enough to remember bread being wrapped in wax paper, but that's how we got it back then. Now, we had to sell that product. You got to move into the 21st century. This is the 21st century. I see all kinds of modern stuff here. I remember attending county commission meetings when you had a loudspeaker. That was it. Carl Flagg probably has all types of electronic equipment at his church.
Home too.
But Chip Libo's dad sold what was called bias ply tires. Nobody even knows what they are anymore. All tires are radial. The world is changing.
Correct.
Ford had mechanical brakes in 1939. I don't think anything's built with mechanical brakes anymore. They're all hydraulic. Everything's changing. Wake up and see that the world is different. Our county commissioners back in the 19th century told Henry Flagler they didn't want his railroad coming in here. So he went to St. Augustine. It's time to wake up and do what's modern. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Webster. Amen. For those who are asleep, the message is wake up. For those who are awake, don't go to sleep. Okay. That's the end of the public speaking cards as it relates to general public comments. We do have cards from Mr. Harrell on consent agenda item F, Mr. Haven on consent agenda item J, and Mr. Owens to speak concerning the 945 public hearing. Are there any others? Please fill out cards if you would for the record. If you choose not to, then we will respect that. Please come forward, take your name and address for the record. I don't see any other cards up here.
My name is Roxana Regan Weeks. I reside at 205 Nellie Street, Palaca, and I'm a 16-year county resident of Putnam. I want to read you Florida Statute 823.15. It refers to the dogs and cats released from animal shelters or animal control agencies sterilization requirement. Subsection 1 states, the legislature has determined that the importation of dogs and cats into and the uncontrolled breeding of dogs and cats in this state pose risk to the well-being of dogs and cats, the health of humans and animals, and the agricultural interest in this state. Importation of dogs and cats from outside the United States could result in the transmission of disease that have been eradicated in the United States to dogs and cats, other animals, and humans living in this state. Uncontrolled breeding results in the birth of many more puppies and kittens than are needed to provide pet animals to new owners or to replace pet animals that have died or become lost. This leads to many dogs, cats, puppies, and kittens being unwanted, becoming strays, and suffering privation and death, being impounded and destroyed at great expense to the community, and constituting a public nuisance and public health hazard. It is therefore declared to be the public policy of the state that every feasible means be used to reduce the incidence of birth of unneeded and unwanted puppies and kittens, determining which programs result in improved adoption rates and in reduced euthanasia rates for animals in shelters and animal control agencies is crucial to this effort. And in subsection 3A, it states, in furtherance of this policy, provision shall be made for the sterilization of all dogs and cats sold or released for adoption from any public or private animal shelter or animal control agency operated by a humane society or by a county, city, or other incorporated political subdivision by either A, providing sterilization by a licensed veterinarian before the relinquishing custody of the animal, or B, entering into a written agreement with the adopter or purchaser guaranteeing that sterilization will be performed within 30 days or prior to sexual maturity. The shelter or animal control agency will require a sufficient deposit from the adopter or purchaser, which deposit shall be refundable upon presentation to the shelter or animal control agency of written evidence by the veterinarian performing the sterilization that the animal has been sterilized. The deposit or donation may be based upon recommended guidelines established by the Florida Federation of Humane Societies. Failure by either party to comply with the provisions of this paragraph shall be a non-criminal violation as defined in Section 775.08, subsection 3. Punishable by a fine, forfeiture, or other civil penalty, and in addition thereto, the deposit or donation shall be forfeited to the shelter or animal control agency. Any legal fees or court costs used for the enforcement of this paragraph are the responsibility of the adopter. Upon the request of a licensed veterinarian for valid reason, the shelter or animal control agency shall extend the time limit within which the animal must be sterilized. The issue is, I've been collecting evidence since last year that animals that are being released from this facility and they are not following up, seeing that the animal is spayed and neutered. Putnam County has become known throughout Northeast Florida as the place to come for cheap, purebred animals to backyard breeders. I see it all over Facebook. They're breeding these animals. They're selling the pups and kittens for profit, and nothing's done to enforce this. Another issue is that animals that are adopted here, there's no follow-up to ensure that they're sterilized. And in 6 months, you'll see them come back, dumped back in the shelter because there was an accidental pregnancy. They're pregnant, they're brought in with litters, and this leads to many more unnecessary deaths. I'm putting this board, the county attorney, and the county administrator on notice. There needs to be immediate action taken to enforce this statute. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Mr. Boston.
Jim Boston, 168 Kingfish Lake Como. First thing I'd like to say, the Better Place plan, I voted for it second time, but it wasn't for what you people have done. Just an article Jody Azell put in the paper, I think it was Saturday. It says several questions published in the newspaper have questioned the Better Place plan. We're not so much opposed to this extra 1 cent sales tax, so about where it's being spent. And I really think you people done a poor job with this thing, because as the next paragraph it states, turning dirt roads into pavement was the original intent. I actually thought that when Brad Bissell pulled me aside back in those days in 2000, I couldn't stand the commission because of Lightning Ridge, and I fought him tooth and nail. But Brad took me aside and talked to me about, he thought that was the same thing. I'll be honest with you, that's what I thought. I voted for it then, even against my two favorite ladies, Sister Dolly and Stella Wells. But I thought for that reason, but you people, I feel like have done a poor job trying to sell this thing. And it's a great plan. I really think it is. But the way you're putting it out there and doing it, or saying you're going to do it, is just poor. I didn't know we were going to build these homes or this retirement senior citizen stuff and all. I thought it was for the roads. So anyway, I think you did a poor job. You did pass it. We passed it. I voted for it the second time around. But I had my reservations. Even I talked to Mr. Harvey about it at the Catfish Festival. And by the way, I thank you, Commissioner, for coming down and helping us out on that, spending your money. It took getting liable to open his wallet was kind of hard, but of course, I think you bought that jacket. Maybe that's why. But anyway, but the second thing I'd like to say is, whatever happened to the VA? We were going to talk about it, but a couple of you people said we weren't going to get the butt for the bang, or bucks for the bang. Whatever happened to it? I have never heard any more about it. The VA hospital, whatever that was. Can you say, is it still in the works? I mean, can you say anything?
All of those applications, or the requests for the county to submit applications, are extremely competitive, and they have criteria and a scoring matrix that they use when they are awarding those particular locations. We do have infrastructure that's here. It's some things that we don't have access to an interstate highway, as much as being right off of an interstate highway, proximity to the interstate highway, and things of that nature that they're looking for, because again, it's not a local situation, it's a regional situation. And so we will continue when opportunities come to us, we will continue to submit applications and do what we need to do to be competitive.
Okay.
And that's not just for that, but that's for all of
Let's
the
not
other
forget the Walmart distribution center is not on interstate either, and they're going to stick it in south of Crescent City, so.
Well, again.
I mean, that's nothing to do, but anyway.
Well, the Walmart, since you raised the issue, Walmart has corporate offices, and they also have strategic plans, and when they select a location, it's based on what works for their model. And when they want a location, then it's up to, again, that area to embrace them and help them to accomplish their mission. They want it to just be in a centralized location to be able to get to Interstate 75 and 95, and 40 was their choice. So we don't have anything per se to do with their decisions on that.
You just think it'd be more important for them to go to interstate than the people in the VA, because you can drive up 17, you can come up 19.
Exactly, but again, we don't make the rules for the VA nor Walmart, so it's two different
No, I ain't worried about the
situations.
Walmart.
Let me address the other issue that you raised. When it comes down to Better Place Plan priorities, the visioning sessions that were held leading to the 15-year tenure of the original plan certainly is about to expire. This commission that is currently here will grant the privilege and the pleasure for visioning sessions, town hall meetings for our citizens to move us forward. So you can count on that. Anytime you walk into a situation, you can't just come in and change the rules in the middle of the stream. Perhaps some priorities have changed. Infrastructure needs are there, and when it's all said and done, we have more needs than we will ever have dollars. But because priorities change, citizens change, we have more people who have moved in, we have people who moved away, and things of that nature. So we will be giving additional opportunities before the new 15-year season comes, and that's probably going to happen once we go through workshops and we talk about that. But we will have a strategic plan that incorporates the voices of all of our citizens throughout this county, again, so that it is fresh. And that's really what it amounts to. Mr. Delzell pretty much is saying, refresh the vision, and that's what we will be doing. Count on that, Commissioner Harris.
Thank you. I wanted to address that because I read Jody Delzell's article too, and one thing needs to be clarified. The ballot language on the Better Place Plan, both times, last time and this time, specifically says that it's for many uses. Roads certainly was the most important thing, and we spent 80% of the money on improving roads, resurfacing, and dirt to pavement. But it also called for things like quality of life. It called for things like economic development. And so certainly roads were the most important thing, but the ballot language spelled out exactly what we could use the money for. Community service centers and senior centers are included in that. So if you'll just read that one paragraph, if I knew you were going to say that, I would have brought it with me. But it does call for those other things so that we could improve the quality of life.
Well, if you read all the papers, though, you would see a lot of people have misunderstandings about this thing.
Yes, sir.
One of them, even though I voted for it, main reason I voted for it because everybody's got to pay that penny. I don't care if you're Mexican, black, or white. When they go in the handy store, they got to put that penny down. Most of the people in this county, we can't get any money from them. So, but I appreciate y'all.
Well said, Mr. Boston.
Huh?
Very well put. Thank
Okay,
you.
take care.
Mr. Boston, real quick, I wanted to address the VA issue. That VA hospital, if I'm not mistaken, was put in St. Lucie County. And as I said before, my vote was not against the veterans by no means. It wasn't practical in that they had just built one in St. Johns County, our neighboring county. And I believe that when they consider locations to put those hospitals, they look at very critical things that they feel are important to the people that are coming to visit their loved ones in the VA is four-lane connectors. And as again, St. Lucie County has 95, St. Johns County has 95. And those things are very important to them. I didn't feel like we were a contender in the race, and that's the only reason that I voted against spending that money.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Clear that up.
Thank you.
Okay, Harvey, you all right?
I'm doing.
Okay, I know you CPR or what?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very kindly. Mr. Spells. Mr. Spells.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, sir.
I come before the commissioners today with a diary of a mad black man, and I want to give each one of y'all a copy of this here, and then I'll continue.
Okay.
Will that be in a movie form too, Mr. Spell? Will that be in a movie?
I don't know yet.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
At the last meeting, I brought it to your attention about the signs being removed on Moody Road. Mr. Flagg, you had already known that I was on that. I actually had part ownership in that on that property because when me and you had rode that time, but I don't know why you let him lock himself behind door of saying that my name wasn't even on it. But my thing is, you know, I look at code enforcement supposed to do a job. I rode some everywhere around this county, and if they was doing their job, I want one of you to tell me why was they nailing vote yes signs on light poles. And even though Ms. Nancy said we was insignificant at one time, but I had sense enough to know you do not nail nothing on light poles. But code enforcement did not remove none of those vote yes signs off a light pole, but they can take it upon themselves to go on the property and remove my sign saying they was illegal.
Okay, I'm not quite sure I understand your question.
My question to you is, you remember when me and you rode when the county was trying to get that portion of Moody Road for the sidewalk?
Yes, sir.
Did you not know that I actually was affiliated, you know, with the property I was a family member?
Yes, sir, I do know who
Okay,
you are.
but when Mr. Hammond stood up before y'all at the last meeting and he said that my name wasn't nowhere on the paperwork and the signs was illegal, I don't understand how can they enforce such a law of going on the property, removing signs, but nobody went around with a 12-foot ladder and got all the signs off the light poles. Even by your funeral home, even down Madison Street, there was vote yes signs on the light poles, but him, knowing the law, can remove my signs, but didn't nobody go and remove none of the vote yes signs.
Okay, Mr. Spell, according to the information that was passed on after the meeting, what we actually have is joint owners and family members not necessarily in agreement with what's happening. And so maybe you can talk with Mr. Hammond directly so that your family issues can stay family issues there. It's not an outsider who's really engaged in this situation. It is a family matter, and we certainly can keep it as a family matter if you're willing to do that. Otherwise, Mr. Hammond certainly can tell you exactly when a complaint is sent in to the office that they respond to the complaint. However, when it becomes a domestic issue and one side is against another side, it puts the county, or whether it's code enforcement, whether it's zoning, whether it's law enforcement, it puts everybody at a disadvantage if the family has mixed signals about what they want and what they don't want.
Mr. Flagg.
Yes, sir.
I went and talked to my aunt. They did not call them. I went down to get proof of when he made the response of saying there was several calls and complaints. I went to get a copy of to find out who was complaining. They didn't have nobody to prove that was calling and complaining. I went and talked to both of my aunts. They said code enforcement came to their house and told them the signs was in violation. They used a scare tactic in order to get permission to remove the signs, and I find that to be unfair.
Okay, again, we will not be able to debate that in this forum, and I would really prefer that you talk with our department head, that you all have an exchange of conversation so that he can shed more facts from what his office perspective is on it, and then likewise. And I think that exchange will be something that will cause everyone to have understanding. And that's really what we need in this situation is understanding.
Well, that's what I went to get some facts from them. They couldn't produce no facts.
Okay, well, again, process and procedure, and I would rather the department head speak directly to you. And if you all can do that, and you have understanding, and that office have understanding, then we all win. And
well, I don't have an understanding because they didn't give me no understanding. My thing of it is, it's more like you're trying to sweep this under the rug. In other words, when I was here at the meeting and I was explaining this situation, he spoke more on behalf as if he knew what he was talking about. And I went understanding now.
Let me say this, Mr. Spell. On our next agenda, our director will present to this Board of Commissioners exactly what happened from his office perspective, and you just be here, okay?
Okay, now.
That'll give him time to prepare and give us the information in writing, since you think something is being swept under the rug. I don't operate like that.
Well, the something is because he couldn't produce no names.
Again, we're going to end this conversation on that note. That's what will happen at the next meeting. He will present it because he's more than capable of doing that. That will happen, and then you can come up and respond, okay?
All right, but now let me say one more thing. I know you're trying to get me out of the way.
No, I'm not trying to.
When I did give him the same paperwork, then he tells me he was misinformed that I wasn't on. My name wasn't on the property. So in other words, he didn't do his homework before he stepped out and went and removed the sign.
Let's clear it up in a formal manner. You brought the issue to us.
Okay.
We will handle it in this forum. Our director will represent, and everybody that was involved, we're going to just lay it out so that everybody knows nothing but the truth, so help us God.
All right, then I want the truth.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. Okay. Okay, any others? It is preferred that public comment cards are filled out. If you choose not to, then we will respect that choice, but we prefer to have it so that we can contact you if there's a need for follow-up. Thank you.
I'll fill one out
Yes,
afterwards.
ma'am.
This is just a follow-up on here. I went with Mr. Spells down to code enforcement.
Okay, is that about what we just talked about?
And
Is that about,
excuse
me, ma'am.
They cannot produce no record
Excuse me,
of who
ma'am.
called.
I just made it plain that we will bring this issue, and if you will come back, you can speak.
I will be back.
Okay.
Because he cannot produce who called.
Okay, ma'am. I just told you how we're going to handle this. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. We have to have process and procedure, and that's how we're going to operate, all right? For the benefit of all. Thank you very kindly. Closing the public comment section of this meeting, I'm moving to consent agenda. Commissioners, are there any items in addition to F and J that you want pulled for discussion?
I have none. Mr. Chairman, I want to talk about item E, please.
Okay. Any others? Entertain a motion to approve item A, list of committee minutes, recommendation distributed to become part of the record. B, list of correspondence distributed to become part of the record. C, general services, list of surplus inventory. D, administration adopt a byway litter removal agreement with Palatka Police Department for litter removal on North 19th Street from Reed Street to Jenkins Middle School. G, Public Works USDA Forest Service Cooperative Road Agreement, cooperative maintenance of certain forest roads in Ocala National Forest. H, Sheriff's request for expenditure from Special Law Enforcement Trust Fund number 119, $25,000. Donations for Road Havens Boys Ranch, Lee Conley House, Police Athletic League. I, administration updated local housing assistance plan for 2015 to 2018. Entertain a motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Have a proper motion, second.
Second.
Further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Item E, Public Works FDOT Small County Outreach Program Agreement, $1,263,315 for paving a Holloway Road from State Road 100 to Tinsley Road. Mr. Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Dukovich, could I inquire if he could come to the podium, please? This is an exciting time for this area and Flora Home. This road was one of Mr. Taylor's projects that he had worked on before his passing, and we've kind of inherited this. It's very exciting to see that this road possibly, from my understanding, and I want to clarify that with Mr. Dukovich today, that we might be using that new product that we heard about down in Polk County and have visioned as a base for that road to extend the road a little longer than what we had hoped to. We had met with the community, you met with them, and so did I, and we had determined that we could probably have enough money just to go to the Etnire Creek area, the entrance of Etnire Creek State Park. but using this new product that we're looking at using could maybe extend it to Tinsley. And I'd just like for you to take a moment and share that with us, if you would, please, sir.
Yes, that's correct. We've talked with the DOT about using a different product. It's a tree-based, a lignum-based product that binds the material together, whatever is put on, whether it's rock or gravel or sand or whatever. And we've spoken with them, and they've used it in Polk County, and the DOT has approved us for using it on any of our roads that we would like. And what we are contemplating is putting this product in the specs for the road base for this project. And if we can get bids low enough, we should be able to do all of it from State Road 100 to Tinsley. If we don't get low enough bids, we'll go as far as we can with the project, and then ask for funds in later years to complete the project.
Right. Thank you, Don. I just wanted the community to know, too, that we are going to go as far as we can. Even though the agenda says to Tinsley, that might not be possible, but we will be looking at future funding if we can't go there.
Right.
But Don, I thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much. Entertain a motion to approve item E.
So moved.
Second.
Proper motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign. Hearing none. Motion carries. Item F, Public Works, East Pinellas Road improvements. Relocate 140 feet of fencing gates to align St. John's Shipbuilders entrance with road, $6,427.90. Mr. James L. Sonny Harold Jr., you requested discussion on this item.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm James L. Harold Jr. Most people know me as Sonny.
Sonny Harold.
I have I just saw this morning. I don't pull up the agendas. So anyway, I just saw this morning, and I have a few concerns about it. One, a few months back, you had easement, what do you call them, eminent domain on the Pinellas there?
Yes, sir.
Where you widen the road at the end. And I see those people moving their fence. I wonder if y'all helped them pay for it to move their fence back, or all along there where you took their land. Of course, you had to pay for it within a domain, but I don't know, you probably don't know the answer to that, but
I do.
That's okay.
Yes, Mr. Castleberry, isn't that the same fence we bought some time back for that property owner, and in exchange for an easement running north and south or something? Do you recall that? We had some dealings with a fence with him.
Property owner that was involved in the eminent domain proceeding?
Yes, sir.
No, I don't know. I know that as part of the eminent domain case, we did not pay anything to relocate their fence.
This predated that. We did some.
But those people had to move their own fence.
Well,
we offered to, prior to the eminent domain case, to do a lot of things for them, including buying them and moving a fence, but they didn't elect to do that.
Right. Yeah, right, it was, again, the negotiations between the county and a property owner when there is a need, and this board deliberated for a long time there to really make sure that it was a win-win situation. And, we talk about in various circles about economic development and creating jobs and doing things of that nature, and this is directly tied into creating jobs in this community. And there are things that you have to go through in order to resolve issues, and you're dealing with every single property owner one at a time, so that you can meet the need and make sure that we have proper right-of-way for not only the safety of employees coming back and forth, but the necessary equipment and movement of a product.
Well, I was just asking that question. Let me, from what it says here, what y'all are going to do is, where Pinellas comes out, y'all are going to move their entrance a little bit over. Is that what y'all are doing actually, or what are you moving?
Mr. Jacobovich, if you want to speak to what's the scope?
Yes, that's correct. When we had the project designed, we paved the road. We were designing the road to be paved, but they didn't pay attention to the gate, and the gate was skewed, and so we just are moving it, and that's what this is here.
So, okay. Well, that makes me ask another question. This is on private land and all. This is just a few feet from Lady Lane. where my mother stood down here 10 years asking the county to fix. And y'all kept saying this, you can't use public funds on private roads. And this is where you got a private fence. I'm sure they don't have their fence on the county property. And you're going to take public money and move there. I don't care how many jobs you're creating.
Okay, you apparently need to be brought up to date on how eminent domain proceedings take place and what all is involved in that process. And we certainly don't have an issue at all sitting down with you and helping you to understand so that we can better understand your concern, because perception is reality.
I'm not talking about
perception is reality, but you're bringing Letty Lane into a situation that is more related to East Pinellas.
I'm not talking about the part of Pinellas now that you took on eminent domain. This is where it comes out on Stokes Landing, right across the street. It's going to be offset. That it wasn't included in the eminent domain, was it, Mr. Castleberry?
No, it was not, but as you recall, we offered many times for your mother to dedicate that property or to sell that property to the county so we could work on it. She didn't do that, and what happened in this case, these property owners did agree to give up their right-of-way in exchange for, in some case, cash, in some case, fence relocations or new fences.
Well, finally, we did because we talked Mr. Brown. There was no need in us signing over until Mr. Brown signed over. He was the part where to wash it. But that's not. Just don't get tangent off here.
No,
I
want to get the facts out on the table, would we?
I know I'm tangenting too and rambling, as you say.
Yeah.
But the issue is, you're using public dollars.
Public money on what is now public property because it has been conveyed to the county. It used to be private property. Or it was in exchange for them giving up public money, the same we can buy land. If we can pay cash for land, we can also build a fence for you or put you a new fence in.
So the entrance to the shipyard, where it's going to be public? I mean, where you're going to put...
What did I just say? It's either public or it was in something we did in exchange for them giving us land. We can pay cash for it. We can build them a fence. We can relocate a fence.
It's all a part of the process, and I think that if you want those concerns elaborated on, Mr. Harrell, we certainly can do that so that you can look at a schematic there. Okay, listen. Let us provide you a schematic so you can see precisely the scope of the project, and then it'll give you a greater appreciation for what transpired. Everything that has been done is related to the eminent domain proceedings and the right-of-way acquisition that this county needed in order for that project to be viable and for the future growth of the jobs.
I appreciate that. You're right on that.
Yes, sir.
But let's forget about all that.
Okay.
Forget about all this. Forget about what I said. Is the fence going to be on that you're going to put on there? Is it going to be on their property? On the
let us,
property?
Mr. Harrell, we will make sure that you can see the map so we can show you. We're not going to resolve that here because you're not seeing what we're seeing. But I promise you that we can show you the schematic so that you can understand that particular part of the project. If you segregate that part of the project, then you're going to miss the point of the overall project. Okay?
Well, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to know y'all fixing to move their fence for them on. It's going to be on public or on private land.
Stay tuned. In eminent domain, you will be moving some fences and you'll be moving some other things as well. But thank you so much.
Also, I want to say that, the last time y'all worked on Stokes Landing, y'all caused the problem on Letty Lane, and I hope that y'all are not going to do that again. And when y'all do the drainage, which I appreciate, they went down.
Better now or worse?
They went down to.
Is it better now or worse?
It's better.
Thank you. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. For the record, it's better.
They went down on Letty Lane and actually put another cupboard in down there. And
so you're complaining? You want to take the cupboard out?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying they did a great job. They put another cupboard in down there to get the water off the road. The last little bit that was sitting on the road when it rained, that now it won't happen. So anyway, they have done a great job, but I just hope that they don't mess it up again.
Okay, well, all right, we'll make sure they don't mess it up. Item F, Public Works, East Pinellas Road Improvements, entertain a motion to approve.
So moves.
Proper motion, is there a second?
Yes, second.
Further discussion, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you so much. Item J, jail expansion contingency change request. Just before Mr. Haven comes, or as he comes, I'm going to ask Mr. Leary or the attorney, Mr. Castleberry, to address what this contingency change request consists of, and then we will respond to the concerns of Mr. Haven. Thank you.
It's three items of.
The summary highlights are fuel island power relocation, leaking fire hydrant repair, and security enhancement to walk gates at Sally Port.
Yeah, these are three items that are coming out of contingency was set up in the project budget to address, items that are expected to come up during the course of construction. I mean, the largest of these is for the change to the walk gates at the Sally Port. The architect has recommended that they be changed from a chain link to a security hollow metal configuration that will last longer and provide a greater security. The contingency funding is a total of $460,000 contingency money set up during the course of construction, and that's what this is coming out for. It's part of the project budget, part of the funding that was arranged at the outset, part of the guaranteed maximum price that was agreed upon.
Okay, so the explanation is that the relocation of the existing fuel island electric panels out of the footprint of housing part B, and then the emergency repair of an existing fire hydrant that provides water to the project with subsurface leaks there. And then thirdly, as Mr. Leary stated, the larger ticket item is the changes per the security submittal review meeting there, so that the instead of having what we would consider a standard chain link type of a fencing there, that from the Sally Port at the institution there, that it's no longer chain link, but it's security hollow metal there for the benefit of all concerned. Okay, Mr. Haven, you have the floor.
Okay, I sat here probably a year ago and we listened to the architect, and he told us that the new jail is only going to cost us $18 million. You guys added another $563,000 to that. Is this an additional amount that's going to be added? Or is this within that $563,000?
Mr. Leary? What, 563?
The total project budget is $18,565,000.
Right.
This is part of that.
Okay, so this isn't an additional amount?
No, it is not.
Okay, that's my only question.
Thank you very kindly. Commissioners, you have item J, jail expansion
Move
contingency
approval,
change.
Mr.
We have a
Chair.
proper motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign. We have public hearing that is time certain for 9:45, proposed road closing, the closing of North Lewisboro Road for a continuation of the bike path. We will have that issue, and then we will have a recess following this public hearing before we go into the Planning and Development Service meeting, just for informational purposes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Typically, we get requests to close a road or vacate some public property from someone in the public. But in this case, we in Public Works looked at what was happening there in East Palatka when the state started doing their construction on the bike trail going through that area. And we looked at it and determined that this would be a good use of the public property. What we are proposing to vacate is just the crossing of Lewisboro, right where it crosses the trail and connects to East River Road. And we are suggesting closing that and replacing that with a cul-de-sac so you can turn around at the end of the road, and also have some parking spaces to make this a trailhead. The bike trail, the Lake Butler bike trail from St. Augustine, has several trailheads, but the closest ones to us here in Palatka are one in Florhome, and the other one is almost in St. Augustine. So we keep wanting to make Palatka a center for trail use, but we have no trailheads anywhere around here where somebody can park and use the trail. So that's what we were suggesting, as to close that section of road and make that a place where you can park and then get on the trail. We've talked with everybody there. In fact, if you look on page 104 of your agenda, it shows a map of that, and Larry Korn, who has L&M Farms right on that corner there, he was very happy about this because we would be removing the guardrail at that corner as part of this road closure and provide access again to his farmland, which he has lost many, many years ago when that guardrail was in place. Now, subsequent to us requesting this to be done, we spoke with everybody in the area about it, and there was a concern by the fire station about them crossing and getting into the East Palatka area to the north of the fire station. And when we spoke to them, we said, well, we can put a crossing right across from the fire station. We'll put a road across so you can cross right out of your station, across the trail, and get onto Putnam County Boulevard. But then we had some further discussions. I had discussions yesterday with Commissioner Flagg, and we were discussing a possibility of extending Lewis Brower Road itself straight across. So when you come off of State Road 207, go down Lewis Brewer, and you can go right across the trail. And it's a good choice. What you have that was passed out to you is an estimate of the cost of doing that, and just a small sketch showing with the red rectangle where that is on the trail. And we could in-house do the preparations for all the lime rock and the culvert and have that ready to go as a crossing in just a few days. And what brings this to a head at this time is that the trail is going to be paved very soon, and we would like to pave our portion to go across the trail and to close the portion of Lewis Brewer that crosses the trail at the 90-degree turn as soon as possible, so it's included in the paving, so the trail is a consistent trail. It doesn't get cut up in the future and right after it's paved. And I'm open to any questions.
We'll have questions from the commission in just a moment. We do have Mr. Stan Owens here to speak. Mr. Owens?
I'm Stan Owens, 171 Grandview Drive, East Palatka, Florida. Also a member of the Volunteer Fire Department, which we've been working with. Member of the board of the fire department as well. And these negotiations, which we were talking about here just a moment ago, it's very important that we do keep that area open for fire and rescue. We used to be able to drive across a little meadow directly in front of the fire department when our volunteers come in at all times of the day and night could come in and we could get the units out, but they're too heavy to go back across there, so they would have to be taken up Lewis Brower when we going on Putnam County Boulevard north. And originally, before the offer was made to build a road directly across there, a crossing, which would alleviate our main complaint. The time lost by the volunteers at night, if they closed it at the proposed area there, they would have to pass the fire station, turn around and come back, and lose valuable time. And when you're dealing with a cardiac arrest at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, anybody that's taken CPR knows minutes count. So we did not want to lose that time. In fact, what we're proposing now would even improve that as our response time. So I just wanted to pass this on to you. The concern is that we don't want them to close Lewis Brower before they do complete this new section. Working with government over the years, if you let us do this, yes, we'll get to this. But it needs to be simultaneous or even before Lewis Brower is closed and the construction work starts there.
Mr. Owens, let me make sure I understand precisely. You see the extension of the West Lewis Brewer that will connect from State Road 207 all the way over to Putnam County Boulevard as even a better option to the existing situation.
Now, I have to look at the map with you there. If you'll show me for sure here.
Well,
Not going actually
when I walk
straight in front of
the
fire
area
station.
yesterday, the
Right.
road does narrow down to almost a one lane coming across
Yes,
where it feeds directly into East River Road.
That would
And the
help.
guardrail looked like it's really been in a war zone because of how many times it's been hit. My primary concern is not the farm, and it's not the trail, except for the safety of those who are on the trail. My concern is overall public safety for every resident, every business, public works department, and every entity that comes off of East River Road in the event that there was an evacuation, things of that nature. I want to make sure that they have no less than what they have now as it relates to getting out of there, that kind of thing. And so just discussing this briefly, if the right-of-way issues and things of that nature is appropriate, to me it would be a normal situation for State Road 207 to make it all the way across to Putnam County Boulevard there. And as you were saying, that it would have to precede any closure of that portion of road.
That's my concern there, that we don't want to close the end of it unless they give us the access here for the emergency equipment. The other thing is that is somewhat heavily residential. All of this would work very nicely, as you say, taking it straight from 207A. If they were able to put this directly in front of the fire department, it would prevent the fire equipment having to go through that residential area. It could take it straight out to Putnam County Boulevard. That would be ideal for the fire department, but it would not be ideal for your concern there of going from 207 directly to Putnam County Boulevard.
Again,
But this will work.
Keeping in mind future growth in East Putnam, East Palatka area, and future plans for strategic locations of emergency responders and things of that nature, I think all of that has to be considered. My main concern is that there was no such thing as closing this road without the benefit of especially the individuals that are coming off of East River Road who needed to get over to 207 without having to go to Cracker Swamp or going to McCormick. I wanted to make sure that those issues were addressed. Mr. Spell, if you'll come and speak concerning this issue, sir.
Yeah, this will be satisfactory. As I say, it'll actually be an improvement perhaps in our response time to get out of the residential area instead of having to go all the way to the end. And it doesn't appear that it would be that much of an inconvenience to move it for the local residents as well.
Yes, sir. I think that some would applaud getting over to Putnam County Boulevard instead of having to go either way if the commission is moving forward with this.
Yes, but don't close one without having the other one complete.
No question about it.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Spell.
I don't really see why would they even close it, because you got to look at all the residents in that area that's got to go pay water and sewer bill. They got to go further out of their way when they can travel that there. All right, you take if it was a wreck on Putnam Boulevard and you got that road closed even beyond for where they want to actually run it straight across McCormick, right onto Putnam Boulevard, it still throw everybody have to go all the way back out down Cracker Swamp to 207. If you're going to do anything, widen it, because if that's the case, right there where the gas station at, where Burger King at, you got people crossing it there, but to just eliminate a road that most people coming from East River Road can go right on up to the post office, and if you really look at it, if they're going to do anything, take some of that asphalt and pipe and stuff and fix in front of the fire station. At least they can get out of there safe. But to just keep inventing roads and stuff, unnecessary when you got a good road there, just widen it a little bit so when you come around that curve, you can still have access.
Okay. Thank you.
And another thing, and I know I shouldn't bring it up in here, but, we got to get some people with a little more engineering skills before you just let everybody just go to Millen Road, because I looked at Milligan Road with the Millens, and Take time and go look at it. That was a lot of wasted milling. Some of that milling is over 1.5 feet thick, and the road is bridged up like that. They didn't give it enough time and prep it before they went out there and just dumping it and knocking it down. You'll never be able to go back and grade it, but if you take time, go look at that road and imagine what it's going to look like in about 2 or 3 years.
Thank you, Mr. Spell. This is a public hearing open to the public. Are there any other speakers, citizens that are speaking as it relates to the North Lewisboro Road road closure, proposed road closure? Reverend K. Moore.
Leroy K. Moore, 117 Gladys Avenue, East Palatka, Florida. I would oppose closing that Lewis Brewer Road for the simple reason there are churches in that area over there, and if you being in the funeral business, it would inconvenience you, cost you more money too. You would have to go back up past the fire station, get over if you was going to Pattersonville or something like that. But I would like to see the road left open, put some caution blinking lights there, similar to what they have on 207 down the other, up at Ector, up there, and leave the road open. Now, I would respect the flashing lights and the bicycles, but don't close the road off. It's a community of people back over in there. And all of those come out, you would be surprised how many people come up to Lewis Brewer and make a right turn. When they get to East River Road, they hit Putnam County Boulevard and go on out wherever they're going. But when you close that off, then that is an inconvenience for them. I understand a lot of time that we only is concerned with what suits us, but we have to think about that road been there, I don't know, probably 50, 60, 70 years. And now all of a sudden we want to close it because of a bicycle trail, when it's a 35-mile speed zone through there anyway, and you could, on Putnam County, Lewis Brewer Road, I think it's 25 miles an hour. When they get up past that road there on McCormick, cut it down to 20 miles or 15 miles an hour. And some of those police can set out there every now and then. If you write some tickets, that'll put some money in some, and it would slow the people down and not close the road.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman, has he seen the map? Does he?
No, I'm not sure that, Reverend K. Moore, do you have a copy of the map out there, Mr. Don? Do you have a copy of the map? Coming from Morning Star, coming from Mount Olive, coming from Rema Healing, coming from Church of God by Faith, if the non-existing road came straight across, it would go straight to Putnam County Boulevard, and that would resolve the issue. Instead of them having to do a right turn and then a sharp 90 there, it would be safer as an alternative. And the only way that this commissioner could support that is that that was done first, just as Mr. Owens mentioned in his presentation. Are there any other citizens that would like to speak concerning this issue? Close the public hearing part of this meeting, and we will go into commissioner deliberations. Commissioner Harvey?
Mr. Dukovich, I have a question for you concerning this cul-de-sac. Did you place that there because of safety? Is that what you felt more prevalent to?
No, it's just convenient for the end of the road. That's why we placed it there. And it can be anywhere on that road.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. That's it,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Pelletier?
Where is the firehouse exactly?
It's further down, going
back to the south.
On
it's this way.
Yeah.
It's right off the map where we provided the crossing over at West Lewis Brewer.
Okay.
You're coming down here, the fire station is right here.
Okay.
And so they'll do that rather than do that.
Okay.
I was contacted by the fire chief over there, and he had concerns about closing it, in that if you did away with that they would have to come down. And I haven't been over and looked at it see exactly what he's talking about for sure, but I was trying to visualize it in my mind. I didn't have time to get there yesterday. And I'm agree with Commissioner Flagg. Safety of the citizens that are served by that fire department over there is paramount. I want to be sure before I have any say over this that I'm exactly positive that this is going to serve the fire department's needs more so than anybody else's.
Yeah, he could not be here. The chief could not be here because of a medical appointment there, but I spoke with him yesterday, and Stan actually is representing him. So what they're saying is that knowing what we know concerning the existing location of the department and the concerns that we all would have for the safety of all of the residents and the benefit of the residents that are on West Lewisboro who's trying to get to Putnam County Boulevard, is actually going to be an improvement that they will appreciate in the years to come, because the road does go down to a one-laner, and anybody who looks at the guardrail that goes around that intersection, it's beat up because it's been that many individuals hitting it. The majority of the individuals coming off of East River Road just unofficially are making a right or a left, but there is a number of them who do go across to get West Lewisboro, but they would actually have an opportunity to make the right turn on the Putnam County Boulevard and go straight West Lewisboro if that's what they wanted to do to get to 207.
Okay.
I don't want to put our clerk on the spot, but he does live in that neighborhood, and I just feel like, he's a citizen just like all of the rest of us are. And do you have any heartburn with this added information that the Public Works is bringing to us this morning?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't, as the proposal that you've submitted today is. When it was just closed that part,
right,
I was concerned because of that traffic that goes around. But I do think that what you've talked about of extending West Lewisboro to Putnam County Boulevard actually is an improvement to that area. I'm at that intersection 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, and if you want to go on that road, you got to know what's coming down North Lewisboro, because 2 cars can't go.
They cannot go at the same time.
So you got to, it's kind of, everybody understands it, and we just know how to make it work. Kind of like a roundabout.
Yeah, the people who do
You've
it
never
every
been
day.
in one, they're confusing, but
Yeah.
if you know how to use it, it works. But you do have to pay attention to that particular intersection because of the sharp 90-degree curve, and it's not very wide. And there's a deep ditch and a guardrail.
And a canal behind that other one.
Yeah, but I think if the fire department has said that they see an improvement, then it should be an improvement for the whole community.
Correct.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, you straight, sir?
Well, just I'll be sure that Mr. Owens, you represent the chief, and you're happy with Mr.
This has been a constant negotiation right up until yesterday, I guess.
Yeah.
And what we have worked out here we're happy with it. In fact, it will prevent that 4-way intersection. It'll become a 3-way intersection, as
It'll be a T.
Tim was explaining there, and perhaps even help the traffic flow. And also, school buses are maybe, it's tight for them to get around, so.
Correct.
Also get advantage there too. So, yeah, I agree with it now. My point was to make sure that they don't close one and wait for the other. We need to make sure we have.
Count on that.
The county, the citizens mind and finish that first.
Yes.
Count on that, Mr. Owens. Count on that. District 3.
I'm good. I'm good now.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Kamore, I wanted to know, after you saw the map and what they're adding, are you satisfied?
Yes, ma'am. If he keeps straight road to Putnam County Boulevard,
Mhm.
I'm satisfied with that.
Thank you.
Eliminate the curve.
That's right. Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Lible.
I have no problems if the additions that we were just speaking about are included in a timely manner that it doesn't compromise public safety. I'm good to go.
Okay, let's talk now specifically about the crossover, Mr. Jakovovich. I want to make sure that we don't have a Lime Rock crossing. I want to make sure that the quality of the crossing that would connect West Lewis Brewer to Putnam County Boulevard, that it does not look like an afterthought. I see the numbers that you have here to make this happen. Are you certain, and are these numbers certifiable, that the quality of this project is going to be something that's going to hold up?
Yes, these are good numbers. In fact, most of this will be done in-house. We'll put the culverts in and put the lime rock in-house. And when we have either the DOT contractor paving the road, the bike trail, or when we go for our dirt to pavement this summer, we'll pave that. We'll have conventional asphalt there.
I'm not so sure I want it to be this summer.
Right.
Now, that's
Well,
an issue.
the bike trail is coming very soon, in the next like 3 or 4 weeks.
That road got to come very soon, too.
And when they come to pave, we can make a change order with them to be able to pave that.
I think that I'm hearing that because I don't want the citizens, and right now, I have issues on McCormick with the time lapse on that patch that has not been put in, and we've had that conversation, and I do understand timing. I also understand how we have to be efficient in what we're doing, but when I'm getting the telephone calls concerning all of those holes that are left there because we're waiting on some certain things to happen, we don't need this to be an afterthought.
No.
And so I want to make sure that you are committing to what we all are agreeing on. We have not passed this yet, but I want to make doubly sure that everybody understand in this room that that road is an open road with the stop signs and everything up before anything happens north. Mr. Attorney, do we need to put him under oath? I'm just teasing. But you straight on that, Mr.
Yes.
Skokovic? Any further discussion from the commission?
Have none, sir.
I have something else.
Okay, Commissioner.
I was just wondering, this is a fairly short strip that we're doing, and I was just looking at the costs, and the asphalt part of it is going to be $2,240, but the pavement striping, the painting, is $3,000. Why is that?
There are other stripes that you have to put for the bike path to go across it and the stop bars. That's why there's.
Oh, okay.
And that can also be negotiated at the time when we do this with the same contractor who's doing the striping on the trail. This is just our estimate.
Okay, so it may be less.
Yes.
Commissioner.
All right.
You and I talked about on the curve of Putnam County Boulevard where the bike trail goes underneath, and that water issue that's right there at the power line.
Yes.
And you're talking about not going back and patching and having a bump in it and all this. Have you addressed that with DOT about putting a culvert there to drain that water underneath
We
there?
have discussed that with the DOT on several times since then, and at this moment, the DOT still doesn't want to put a culvert under the trail, but we have already submitted a permit with the Water Management District to put a culvert under Putnam County Boulevard. If nothing else, and my last email to the DOT yesterday was, if nothing else, it will drain that area between the trail and Putnam County Boulevard.
They can't see that water there and that's holding it back. Are they blind?
And they could see that, but they are kind of hesitant because they did not believe that we were actually going to put a culvert under Putnam County Boulevard, but we've already met with the Water Management District and submitted our permit.
Mr. Korn's given us permission to drain that water through
Yes.
his property to get the water to the river. I don't understand that.
Yes.
I think we need to have
But
some more
we're hoping as
negotiations.
soon as we can cut the
We need to have some more
asphalt, they'll see
talks with
that.
DOT, I think.
Okay.
And maybe possibly have an optometrist out there and get them some glasses.
What is the pleasure of this commission concerning the proposed road closing of North Lewisboro Road for continuation of the bike path with the understanding of the extension of West
Yes.
Lewisboro?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the closing of that road and fixing West Lewisboro Road first.
Have a proper motion. Second.
Second.
Motion and second. We're going to have a roll call vote. District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 3? Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very kindly. This time we're going to take...
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Before you take a break, could I make an announcement, please?
Please do, sir.
Because I know a lot of these folks are probably going to leave, but this Saturday, we're having a traffic ticket amnesty day at the courthouse, and this is for people who have a past due driver's license that has been sent to collection, which means their license is suspended. We have over 2,000 tickets in Putnam County, which necessitate 900 people having their driver's license suspended. Wow. This is a one-day, never been done before amnesty program where those folks can not have to pay the collection fee that's added to this for collection, just pay their normal fine amount in the citation and get their driver's license suspended. We'll be open from 8:30 to 5 on Saturday. Never heard of this before, but all the clerks around the state are being open Saturday to help this project out. And the point is because we have so many people that are in a financial hardship that can't get their ticket paid, that their driver's license remains suspended, which means a lot of them are driving with a suspended license. And I will tell you that you don't want to go to that next step of being stopped with a suspended license, because now you do have problems. Yes. So here's an opportunity, one day only, to come to the courthouse and let us help you get your driver's license reinstated. So I just wanted to share that before folks start leaving the room. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Clerk, thank you again so much, and thank you for your leadership, not just in our county, but statewide. There, we really appreciate your leadership, and that information is very valuable information for us all. At this time, we're going to take a 7-minute recess, and we will reconvene.
What's 7 minutes?
I want to jump in there. What's up, Robert Freeman?
I thought you were going to
knock him out when he makes it.
I'm ready.
You took 8 minutes. I guess that represents new beginning.
New shoes can't walk fast.
Thank you.
Okay.
I walked so much over the weekend.
I got mine in.
Wore out. I ain't gonna tell you what I would.
Call us back in session. Item 9A, PUD 15-002, Steve Stratton Incorporated, amendment to hours of operation in PUD, pages 105 through 123. We have Mr. John Salmons, who is our leader for this.
This is a request by Stephen Stratman Incorporated for property at 500 and 532 State Road 207 East Palatka. In 2011, PUD 11004 was approved by the board on February 14, 2012. It's a model car racing enterprise, which you would see on the right side of 207 if you're heading towards St. Augustine. Mr. Stratton has found out that that it takes longer to set up than he thought for the racing, and also there's a desire to go a little bit longer in the evening, so he applied for an amendment to the PUD, just dealing with the hours of operation. The current PUD provides for hours of operation from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Mr. Stratton would like to expand those hours from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight. Except as it relates to candidate compatibility of surrounding properties, hours of operation are not reflected in the comprehensive plan. The area around the use is sparsely developed. There are some residences, and it's mainly agriculturally oriented, low-density residential. Staff recommended approval of the request. At the hearing before the Planning Commission, a gentleman that lived on Cracker Swamp Road had issues with the cars running later than 10 p.m. Extensive discussion followed, and Mr. Stratton indicated that the noise issue should involve whether or not he was violating the noise ordinance. He did not believe that he was in violation of the noise ordinance, and no evidence had been submitted to approve to indicate that he had violated the noise ordinance. Mr. Williams had made a motion to approve the request. It failed for lack of second. The Planning Commission went into recess to allow Mr. Stratton and his neighbor to work out some compromise. After time, they came back and they proposed to extend the hours from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and allow up to 6 special events, which would allow operations until midnight. The neighbor would receive advance notice of the special events. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the PUD 1502 to allow the operational hours to be from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. with 6 special events per year until midnight. Mr. Stratton is here today, and he would like to also talk to you about this, and the neighbor's also here, so I'm sure both of them would like to communicate with you.
Okay, Mr. Stratton, if you please come forward, state your name and address for the record. And neighbor, you're next. So please come behind him. Thank you so much. Good morning.
I don't have a bunch of copies of those, but you can scatter them. My name's Stephen Stratton. I'm owner of the RC Raceway at 516-207. My residence is 9930 West Deep Creek Boulevard, Hastings. And when the last meeting we had, we come to a compromise at my, unhappiness. I wasn't happy with the compromise we had, but to get anyone to vote, because they kept harping on the noise ordinance instead of operation of hours. And to get anybody to vote in any direction whatsoever, we had to compromise. So, I sat down and rewrote just that one area. That's the only change. It'll be colored in purple when you get on page 3. The big problem I'm having with the hours that we're operating is the weather. The weather comes in. It did it just past Saturday. Luckily, well, I say luckily, we had only 20 cars show up, so the race was real short. And so we had the race come in. It rained like Florida does, a summer shower for 30 minutes, destroys the clay. It needs time to dry and rework, which I got equipment. We're very good at it, but it takes about 2 hours or sometimes more to recondition that track back into place. Well, at my 10 o'clock cutoff, that's something that I know it's only 2 hours, but I'm also asking, I'm asking for 7 to 12 midnight. And this one that y'all just handed, he had mentioned 8 to midnight. We had actually compromised from 7 to, in our last discussion, there was a compromise of starting earlier also of 7 instead of 8. But that just gives me a window of when I see bad weather, starting earlier, and when, just gives me some room to work. There was a big debate about the noise issue, and that time I had never run a decimal meter on my facility, so I had no idea what we were, and you couldn't find much on it, not for RC cars. There's one piece of paper you have, it's kind of like general noise, like office noise and all that stuff on there. But I did have a video for y'all to watch, but we can't get it to load for some reason, and for some reason the county won't let y'all watch YouTube, so y'all, we can't do that too. But I run a decimal meter at my racetrack, at the edge of my property, pointing toward my cars, at the traffic on 207, and I walked down to Mr. Thomas's house, which he's through the woods behind a big 8-foot wall that I have separating us, and read decimal meters there. The highest reading I could get in front of his house was 54, 50-ish. There was a motorcycle going down 207 while I was standing in his house, and he lives further away from 207 than he does my track. And it wasn't a real loud motorcycle, but it was a louder motorcycle normal. And I pointed the meter there. The meter run up to 64. Okay, I took readings from the corner of my property back at my cars was mid 60s, and I pointed at 207, and a regular passenger car's 80. A big semi truck would bounce over 90, and it would go into default because it's got several settings. It has a window you set it on. So what I'm getting at is that whole argument we had at the planning meeting was about the law and the decimals, which I didn't understand why we were on that subject anyway. I wasn't looking for y'all or anyone to let me be above the law. It was all about operating hours of, our gas cars, we have maybe 1 to 2 classes out of 7 classes every race, and it's not like it's a constant barrage of cars, so it's just something I thought should have been brought to y'all's attention. I tried to prove, I have the actual, proof of that on video, the meter, and you can hear the birds chirping in the background. I mean, you can tell that it hasn't been tampered with. And I just we are where we are. I mean, it's a struggling business right now, and a lot of these people, when we have our big races, they come from out of town. We don't have quite the local support we would like, but we have a lot of people traveling from Tampa. I've had people from California. I've had people from Wisconsin. And these guys come, if there's a chance of rain, the first thing they start asking is about your hours of operation. Can you race on Sunday and stuff like that? Because they don't want to travel that distance and that expense just to be shut down or turned around to leave. And I mean, these are all people that come to our town and our businesses, and they stay at the hotels and, and the restaurants and everything else. They come to my store and buy stuff. I mean, it's all stuff that I need to live, and, I'm sure a lot of, other businesses appreciate. I just felt like the whole noise ordinance thing was not the right way to go last time. That's why I had to compromise to get to here to talk about it again, is what I hope to do.
Question for you, Mr. Stratton. Did the planning board see the video?
No, sir. I had no idea that we were having any opposition. And Mr. Thomas, he's a nice guy, but he brought in a video that he stuck to this microphone, and it sounded terrible. I mean, my voice is louder with this microphone. If you just held the phone over here and listened to it, would have been something different. But no, sir, they did not. And so I didn't have any of the information I just give you. I didn't know, so I didn't know I needed to know. I thought it was a simple hours of operation. I didn't know we were going to get into a debate of noise ordinances and stuff like that. So I did my research this time, as you can see, and I did a video that you can't see for some reason. So.
Okay. Stand by. I'm sure there'll be some additional questions for you.
I have a question.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks. At the time that you ran the decibel reading, how many cars were on the track at that time, or how many run at one time?
It can be anywhere from 8 to 15, and it was on one of our off-road races, which run 15. So there was, I wasn't standing there looking, but there should have been something close to, I'd say, had to have been more than 8. In the video, you can hear separate in the sense.
So has law enforcement had to respond?
I've never had a complaint that I know of. I've never been notified of any complaint other than it was a surprise, because I get along with my neighbors well. There's some that are a lot closer to Mr. Thomas that come over and hang out. So and it's not something I was ready to deal with, which I am today. I did a lot of research on my own, and I did a lot of, checking and stuff on my own. I know he had mentioned that he could hear the cars from inside his house, and I mean, you'd have to have everything off. I mean, a decimal reading of 50 in the 50s, if you look a humming refrigerator's almost that or above that, so, and a noisy office is more than that. So I don't know. I mean, I know it's peaceful out there when there's nothing, but if there's one car going down 207, it was louder than our cars. I mean, I proved that in the video. Any more questions?
If you'll just stand by for just a moment, let's get your neighbor up here and let's hear the rest of the story.
Okay.
Okay. State your name and address for the record, sir.
Matt Thomas, 115 Cracker Swamp Dirt Road.
Okay.
My concern, I mean, I'm surprised that the decibel level is as low as Steve measured it, but my concern is really more of the nature of the noise. It isn't what I would describe as a white noise, which is something that is much more easily tolerable. Okay. If you can imagine the racetrack with an announcer on a loudspeaker, this is the type of noise that it is.
Could I ask him a question?
Please, Commissioner Harris.
Okay. So, have you ever complained before about the noise?
Well, I bought my house. The answer is yes, but I bought my house with the knowledge that the hours of operation are from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And that was acceptable to me. I did complain once when the operation began before 9 a.m. And there was another time that I had called the sheriff's office early on when it was operating as late as midnight. Okay. However, for most of the last year or so, they have operated within the hours of 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., so I did not do any more complaints.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions at this time for Mr. Thomas? Okay, Ms. Thomas, you have something else to add?
Well, at the Planning Commission, when they came up with the alternative to provide permits for the extended hours, and that was something that I was in agreement with, and I still am in favor of that instead of changing the operating hours that are effective year-round. I would like to, if that is still part of the plan, I am in favor of that, and I would like to ask that those permits be able to be as easy as possible for him to get, and to also reschedule any events that he has to cancel, such as due to weather, without using up his permits. That is what I would like to see, and not changing the year-round operating hour limits.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Could I clarify that? Okay. So the way that it's written, it says he may have 6 annual events with extended hours. So what are you saying about cancellation for rain? Is that something we should add to what's suggested?
It's my understanding that if he applies for a permit and he's rained out, then he's used up one of his permits. And I think that was one of his concerns, is he wanted to use those. I don't want to.
In other words, he don't want it to count against
His tally.
his 6.
So we need to reword what's here, if that's what we're going to do.
I would be in favor of that.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Okay, thanks.
Stand by in case there are some additional questions that come up. How time sensitive are we with this, Mr. Stratton?
Also, he was correct. He did come down one day. I just want to address the one time when he come down, and I was running earlier than I was supposed to because it was a big event, and we had people there that wanted to practice, so he is correct about that. The time-sensitive thing, this is more, I mean, the big events thing, the 6 times works well for that, and that's easy because they're playing probably 6 months in advance. That's not a problem at all. Does not help me with the weather. Won't be able to help me with the weather due to the fact that I can't call you on a Saturday at noon and tell you, hey, I've just got rained on. I need to extend my hours. And that leads back to, the operating hours. It's not something when we did this PUD before, we didn't really think about this. And I wasn't in the business. I didn't run a racetrack. I'd raced at few. So it's not some foreseen thing that I'm wanting to change or something they told me no, or, the committee told me no back then. It's just like, what are your hours? Matter of fact, when we first started, they added a few days. I thought I was limited to just 3 days a week, and they allowed me to be able to run during the week also, which we do a little practice every now and again, but we very rarely have any races. But to kind of paint a picture, most of these people, they travel with their families here. They come to race. If they leave, they're going to want their money back, which is understandable. And if they stay, every one of them wants to race. They'll wait. Well, I've been told many times, hey, whatever it takes to get the track ready, we'll deal with it. This past Saturday, the track was even a little muddy when we got on it, but everybody had a good time and everything worked out well. It's basically a killer if I can't go to midnight due to the fact of the flexibility of it. I don't see how you could write in anything that would allow me to use a permit to do that. Maybe a grace, say, hey, I get 6 complaints maybe.
Mr. Stratton, my question is, can this decision be delayed one time just to get video so we can have a better understanding of your operation rather than to give a compromise that's not going to fix the situation, and it may pacify one side and not really fix the other side? And so I guess my question is, I need to also refer to Mr. Salmon, if this issue was tabled, what does that do to our department and the decision that is before us now? Are there any adverse issues to arise as a result of?
From the county's perspective, no. We can get with IT and figure out how to
Okay, I mean, as long as we have time, I think for the benefit of those of us that are here, it's going to be better for us to know how the operation happens. We're not talking about staging anything. We're talking about actually having some footage of what actually is happening there so that we can be sensitive and empathetic with Mr. Thomas, but at the same time be recognizing that this entrepreneur who has invested in this community, that there needs to be a balance. And I think that we can arrive to that balance if we have information that we can see. We respect both of you all, and we respect the fact that you're talking, you're communicating, and that makes our role in this much easier. But I think that if we can agree, and I don't know how my colleagues feel about it, but if we can agree to table this to a time certain and get that information, then I would feel better about our decision. What is the pleasure of this?
I'd just like to point out that when Mr. Stratton applied for this track, he jumped through many a hoop to get it built. He addressed many of the situations we're talking about right now. He is in a commercial corridor.
Yes, sir.
You did everything right. And,
right. And I read on the one of y'all's sites that the decimal reading you're allowed to have during the daytime in a commercial zoned area is 80, and what you're allowed to have at night is 70. That's another thing that I looked at. And this video, just so you know, it doesn't have like the racing on it. It's got the meter pointed at. And I'm telling you, I got it like captions on it telling you where I'm at and what it's pointed at. But it's not like of the cars, but you can hear the cars. They're in the background.
You've got time to get that.
I've got it in my pocket.
I'm saying you've got time to have that for us at the meeting there, because I want to see operation. And I mean, obviously, we may have time to come over and actually get a visual before the next meeting if I have consensus from the team.
Absolutely. I mean, I can open it on my computer or even on my phone, actually. So.
I personally don't need it, but I'll go with the board's wishes. Okay. I think this man's done everything correctly.
Okay.
I really do.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I spent yesterday afternoon listening to a community who's real upset about a new noise problem in South Putnam. Mm-hmm. And they are just really so upset because it disturbs their peace. They can't sit on their porches, but so it's important to me to hear the decibels and to see that video. And I'm just real concerned about disturbing people's ability to enjoy their quality of life because of noises. So I would like to look at both. And I guess I like the idea that if there are like 6 complaints, that maybe there's something we can call in instead of a permanent agreement for a certain time. But I'd like to see us work with that, and I really want to see exactly.
Keep in mind, though, I mean, the traffic on 207 and my facility is directly on 207, so you move anywhere near 207, your quality of life is already done with, you know. So I'm not impeding them, but absolutely, I would make available the time.
Is 2 weeks enough time? Okay, all right. I'd like to recommend to this board that we, in 2 weeks, have time certain, 10 o'clock, a continuance of this particular PUD hearing so that we can have video here for that assessment. And I think also, Mr. Stratton, that we have your contact information. I personally is in District 3, not, for no other reason, but I want to come over and see you in action, because, again, I can appreciate what Commissioner Leibel is saying about what you went through to get to where you are now, and certainly we want to facilitate your need to ensure that your business is successful, and we want to also respect the needs of any of the adjacent property owners and neighbors.
Keep in mind now, we don't race like every day.
I do understand that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So are you looking to be there when an event is happening, or
will you have any events within the next 2 weeks?
I got one this weekend, but it's an all-electric one, so you're not going to get much there.
Well, again, you've got something videoed, you said, and all. And so all we want to do is be able to have something that we can get IT to have compatible in this meeting room, so everything is transparent, so that we can make a decision that's in the overall best interest of you as an entrepreneur, Mr. Thomas, and any other neighbor as an adjacent neighbor.
Okay. Well, I encourage you to come, though. Come check it out.
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we postpone this to the next Board of County Commission meeting.
Okay.
Second.
That'll be date certain, April 28th. Right, Ms. Tabitha? Right, Ms. Tony? 10 o'clock a.m. Continuance. Thank you so much. I have a motion and a second. Further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank both of you all, and fast forward 2 weeks from now, and we'll be back to make a decision. Okay. Okay, we're moving now into item 10A, fine reduction request, case number 2009-01018, Bank of New York, 205 Strickland Road is the location, Interlaken, Florida. Mr. Salmon.
Yes, this is a fine reduction request. The case was first seen, or the property was first seen on November 6, 2009, and notice of violation was sent out on November 6, on 2009. Notice was sent out on the same day, given 30 days to bring it into compliance. The property was rechecked on January 15, 2010. The property was still found to be in violation. A notice of hearing went out. The case went before the special magistrate on March 18, 2010, and he found the property to be in violation. Gave the owners until April 26, 2010 to bring the property into compliance, or a $25 a day fine would commence. A $100 administrative fee was also charged. On May 24th, the letter saying up to nothing happened, by the way. On May 24th, it went to the special magistrate. Actually, on August 19th, I went to the special magistrate to recommend it, and he recommended foreclosure proceeding on the or abatement on the property. The property was inspected on January 24th, 2014, and was found to be in compliance. Discussion with Mr. Boswell Lakely of Bayou Loan indicated that they had the property cleaned up in September of 2013, but didn't didn't contact us. We stopped the fine on the September 2013 date. This case went before the special magistrate on March 19th, 2015, and he recommended that the $30,675 fine be reduced to $900 if it's paid within 30 days of Board of County Commissioner action.
Thank you, Mr. Salmons. We have a recommended action to concur with the recommendation of the special magistrate and accept the $900 in the case if it's paid within 30 days of board action. What is the pleasure of this board?
Mr. Chairman, so move acceptance of board approval of recommended action of staff.
Proper motion? Second.
Second.
I have a second. Further discussion? In favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Hearing none. Item 10B, fine reduction request, case number 2009-0590, Corliss Williams, 128 East Cowpen Lake Road, Hawthorne.
Actually, it's Corliss Edwards. It's my mistake. I went to school with Corliss Williams back in Detroit, and
okay, Corliss Edwards.
Mr. Edwards is here.
Okay, super.
This property was first seen on April 23rd, 2019. There was an unsafe structure, trash and debris. Staff met with the property appraiser's office because some of the properties are very difficult to figure out which property they're on in that general area. Found out which property it was on and spoke to the owner at that time. He had bought the property on tax deed sale. Thought that he bought it from the county. He didn't think that he should have to pay the fines. Then shouldn't have any liability issues. In order to make a long story short, basically, Mr. Edwards brought the property into compliance on February 5th, 2015. He was the new owner. He sent us photographs. The case went before the special magistrate on March 19th, 2015, and the special magistrate recommended that the fine be reduced to $100 if it's paid within 30 days. The current property owner, for the reasons that the current property owner bought the tax deed sale and paid the back taxes, and he also spent about $4,000 to fix the property up, and he is here.
Thank you very kindly. Mr. Edwards, thank you all for being here. Let me ask you two questions. One, do you agree with the summary highlights? And number two, do you agree with the recommended action? Do you have any objections to what's been presented? Okay. Thank you very kindly. The recommended action, Commissioners, is concur with the recommendation of the special magistrate and accept $100 in this case if it's paid within 30 days of the Board of County Commissioner action. What is the pleasure of this commission?
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
We have a proper motion. Is there a second for this?
I'll second.
Have a second. Now, Mr. Harvey.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Salmons, if you could answer this. I didn't see the total fine on this piece.
The fine was $5,850.
$5,850?
Yep.
Thank you, sir. That ends my question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So we've got several different names here. We got Edwards Dixon, we got Corliss Williams, and Corliss Edwards. Will all of this be resolved as it relates to who is the name?
Mr. Edwards is the owner.
Okay, Mr. Edwards is the owner. Just want to make sure the record reflect that. Proper motion and a second. Further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for the improvements and bringing that property into compliance. We will move forward to the next case, fine reduction case number 2010-00329, BAC Home Loans, 115 Clouds Avenue, Interlochen. Mr. Salmons.
There it is. It's hide down there. This case was, property was first seen on March 12, 2010. The mobile home was missing with siding. Courtesy notice had been sent out on March 16th, saying that it was in violation. The inspection on April 15, 2010 revealed that no change had happened. A notice of hearing was sent out, and the special magistrate heard the case on July 15, 2010. He found the property to be in compliance and gave the property until August 26, 2010 to bring the property into compliance, or a $25 a day fine would commence. $100 administrative fee was also levied. The lien was recorded as nothing happened on November 9th, 2010. On July 29th, 2014, staff found out that there was a new owner. Staff received a call on 2014, indicating that the new owner believed that they were now in compliance. Staff inspected the property and was still in violation. In January 2015, staff received another call indicating that they were in compliance and rechecked the property and found that they were in compliance. The case went before the special magistrate on March 19, 2015, and he recommended the fine be reduced to $200 if it's paid within 30 days of Board of County Commissioners action. And the reason for that is the new owners were not the ones that had placed the property in violation. Actually, the total amount of the fine on this property is $39,200.
What was that number again?
$39,200.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very kindly. Any representatives here for case number 2010-00329? We have the summary highlights. Commissioners, we have a recommended action to concur with the recommendation of the special magistrate and accept $200 if it is paid within 30 days. What is your pleasure?
Move approval.
Have a proper motion for moving approval. Second. Okay, which one of you guys are going to be the mover of for the approval?
I'll second it.
Harvey did the motion, is what I heard.
Okay, all right.
I think it was a
They were
tie.
simultaneous, but
Good with me.
he'll make the next one. All right, we have a proper motion and second. Further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Item D, fine reduction request, case number 2007-00422, Michael Robershard, and I may need some help on the last name so that I can be appropriate. 182 Maple Lane, Interlochen. Mr. Salmons.
This property was first seen on April 4, 2007, and there was an abandoned mobile home and trash and debris on the property. On May 17, 2007, notice of violation and hearing had been sent to the owner. Case went before the special magistrate, and he found the property to be in violation. Gave the owner until August 20, 2007 to bring the property into compliance, or a $25 a day fine would commence. $100 administrative fee was also charged. Nothing happened, and the case went back before the special magistrate on December 13, 2007. He ordered the property to be abated or foreclosed upon. The property went before the Board of County Commissioners on June 29, 2009, and received authorization for abatement. The county abated the property on August 12, 2009. The cost to abate the violation was $1,249. Property went for a tax deed sale on January 10, 2013, and there was a new owner, but no overage on the bid for the taxes. Staff sent information concerning the fine, send the abatement lien to the successful tax deed holder. Nothing happened towards payment of the lien. On September 29, 2014, another new owner, Mr. Robichaud, owned the property. A courtesy notice was sent to him. He came in and paid the lien off, the $1,249. He asked for a fine reduction on the fine portion of it. Went before the special magistrate on March 19, 2015, and the special magistrate recommended that the fine be reduced to $100 if it's paid within 30 days of your action. The reasons given is the new owner paid the $1,249 abatement fee, and the new owner paid $4,728.52 in back taxes. The fine amount currently is $2,850.
I didn't get that. What, that number again?
Huh?
The number again, sir?
$2,850.
Thank you.
Here we have the summary highlights as presented. Is there anyone here representing case number 2007-00422? Commissioners, you have a recommended action to concur with the recommendation of the special magistrate and accept $100 in this case if paid within 30 days. What is your pleasure?
Move approval.
Have a proper motion for approval?
Second.
Have a second. Further discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Outstanding, sir. You made it easy today. Item 11 on the agenda, Ms. Carol Ross, Animal Control Department concerns. Please come forward. State your name and address for the record.
I'm Carol Ross. I'm a resident of Palatka and a retiree from the St. Johns River Water Management District. And the end of February, I'm looking out my window it's a Sunday, and I see a puppy. Animal control in Palatka is not there, and I can't get the puppy. I'm at that time, a recent patient of Shan's and Palatka rehab because Christmas morning I had an accident, broke my hip and my shoulder.
Bless your heart.
So I'm out in my yard and out in the street in my pajamas and slippers and cane, and I really can't blame the puppy for not wanting to come. I'm pretty scary looking. But on Tuesday in the morning, the puppy was back. And I called Nora Baker, who's the animal control for Palatka. And she came out, and between the two of us, got this puppy, who was so excited to get cookies and be picked up and whatever. So as she left, I said, Nora, if the owners don't come for this puppy, I would be happy to take it. So she put my name and number on the form. Now, several years ago, I was on my way to Nebraska. I have a daughter in Nebraska, and I was flying there, and there were two Jack Russells, and they came in my backyard, and I called Nora, and I said, if the owners don't want them, I will take them. And so I was gone a week, and when I came back, I called, and they were there. So this time, Nora said, well, they probably will call you on Friday. But Friday, I didn't hear from them. So Monday, I called Animal Control in the morning and in the afternoon, left my name and number. Tuesday, I called Animal Control in the morning and afternoon, and no answer. Wednesday, I called the supervisor, whose name is Lisa. And I got an answering machine that didn't say she was going to be gone any length of time, and I didn't hear from her. So Thursday, I called the director, and a man answered the phone, sounded like a dispatcher, and he said, I could hear somebody in the background saying, ask her what she wants. So I told him the story. I'm looking for the puppy. Where is the puppy? And on and on. And he said, Mr. Hammonds will call you back. But that afternoon, I didn't hear from him. So I called again, and I got a message. I got a woman answered the phone, a dispatcher, sounded like. And she said, Mr. Hammonds is a very busy man. And she gave me a synopsis of his job description. And he will call you when it's convenient, and hung up the phone. So I called my director at the St. Johns River Water Management, asked what should I do? And she said, there's a thing called Citizens Agenda, and you can fill that out, and I would do that. So I made a call, and I have to tell you that I called 3 times to this young lady within a period of 2 weeks, and finally got it on the third call of the agenda. But I also had a friend that did her. I don't have a computer. I do have an inside toilet, but I don't have a computer. I'm really, teased about that. I also called and got through the commissioner's office to speak to a commissioner, and none was at the time. I spoke to Betty, and she put me through to Mr. Leary. And Mr. Leary's first question was, did you get her name at Mr. Hammond's office? And I said, she hung up on me. I did not get her name. But let me tell you that after that conversation, I have everyone's name and everyone's number and the time and what I spoke to. After speaking to Mr. Leary very shortly, and I've got the time, 1:50 I talked to Mr. Leary, and 2:15 the supervisor, Lisa, called and said she'd look into where the puppy is. Then Monday, let me see where I'm lost here. Let me put these glasses on. And she was going to check with Nora and find out all the particulars, and then she would call me back. Well, Lisa called that Monday morning, and she said, I think the puppy has been sent to Daytona to a no-kill shelter, but I'm not sure, and I'll find out. And if the puppy is there and hasn't been adopted, I will go and it's closed on Monday. I will go and pick up the puppy, and I will pay for the fee, whatever it takes to get you this puppy. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I had no response from Lisa. I also got a call on the 11th from the shelter person, Donna, who said, I have your Chihuahua. And I said, I don't have a Chihuahua. Oh, you're talking about the terrier? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, that terrier was adopted before it even left here. On the 11th, I talked to Mr. Leibel, and he said he would check in with the puppy. And then Mr. Leibel called me back on Friday and said he had done some butt chewing. And I asked him where the puppy was, and he said he didn't know. Within a matter of 15 minutes, Lisa called back, this is Friday, and said her staff called Daytona and the puppy has been adopted. And I knew that I couldn't say anything to her, so I just told her I didn't believe her, and I don't. I wrote a letter to Mr. Leibel, and I told him that butt chewing was fine, and there's a lot of people that needed that. But we need to know where this puppy is. We need to know what the process is. We need to know how this puppy was supposed to come to me or the family, and we don't know. I just have to tell you that that regret is a very difficult thing, and I regret ever sending this puppy there. I do. If there was any way at that moment that I could have kept him, I would. But he had a family, and that family deserved to call that shelter and find out if that was their puppy. And I deserved to have that puppy if it wasn't there. And Mr. Hammonds has yet to call me back, so I guess it's still not convenient. And I only have one really positive thing to say. There was a young lady in the commissioner's office that spoke to me twice or 3 times. And her name is Betty. And Betty needs to teach your clerical people telephone etiquette. because they obviously don't know about the public and how to answer the phone and how to care about people and how to treat people, because I was very, very badly treated. Thank you.
Ms. Ross, what you're saying is not falling on deaf ears. We do have a response to the issues. If you'll just stay close, I'm sure there will be some questions or some discussion there, but our director is here to speak to a memo that he's presented to us. So just stay close, please, ma'am.
Don't leave me.
We won't leave
Okay.
you. Don't leave us.
I won't.
All right. If you have a seat for just a moment. Thank you so much, Mr. Hammonds.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
First of all, in dealing with the city, as you know, the city uses our facility out of courtesy at this point in time. We have no interlocal agreements. They don't help fund our operations out there. We do accept their animals, but they have no control over the animals once they leave them with us. We have had some problems in the past, miscommunications and issues such that we make sure we control what goes on our facility. We put them in the computer, we process them, we answer the phones, etc. I apologize that she was not able to get hold of staff out there. We are attempting to deal with that issue as best we can right now. We have heard that complaint before. Secondly, we do work with a lot of rescues. The rescues, once they identify an animal that they want, we immediately let the rescues pick them up. They usually pick up multiples. Case in point, we had the Flagler Humane Society yesterday pick up 11 dogs from us. And we are tickled to death when that happens. That's just 11 dogs we don't ultimately end up having to put down. Once they're gone, they're gone. We do not track them, whether they're adopted or whether they're taken by a rescue. We're simply not tracking them. We are glad that those rescues are helping us, as I'm sure some of you have heard me say in the past. Everything we do at Planning and Development, including animal control, is oriented toward protecting the health, safety, and welfare of the public. In dealing with animals, we're dealing strictly from a regulatory side. Unfortunately, we're not really geared, and never have been, and I don't think the sheriff ever was, geared really to being an animal rescue as such. So we have to rely heavily on our rescue partners out there in the private sector, and do. But once they identify animals, we're more than happy to turn them over. We do not hold animals for anyone. We just can't. The worst thing that can happen to us is that we hold an animal and miss potential adoptions of that animal, only for us to have to euthanize that animal a few days down the road. That's the worst thing that can happen from our standpoint. The shorter the time they spend in our care, the better, both for the animal and for the county. And that's the way we currently operate. Again, I apologize to Ms. Ross that obviously she was offended by the fact that she did not get a call regarding the adoption of this animal. I have spoken with Ms. Baker's supervisor at the city and asked them, please don't make such promises to people. Don't do it. Because, as I just explained to you, what our policy is, get the animals out. Otherwise, we may be faced with killing them, and we'd just as soon not do that. And certainly, well, our primary goal with the animals that we have in there is to get them adopted out. Now, that is not our main goal, but it is a gorilla in the room that we have to deal with. So, any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Hammonds. Mr. Lytle.
I'm good. Mr. Harvey had a question, I think.
Harvey?
Mr. Hammonds, don't think you addressed Mrs. Ross's disappoint that you didn't call her back.
And I apologize, I did not. I have 2 supervisors over animal control who have more direct knowledge of what's going out there. At any given time, both the division supervisor that's over both codes and animal control, and then the on-site person out there, on-site supervisor. And I delegated that to them to make the call back.
I understand. One last thing. I attended the animal service meeting, it was a couple months back, and watching the new IT program that's going to take place, there was some kind of a hold, if I'm not mistaken, or at least an interest button per animal. Am I correct in saying that I can go on there and click that I'm interested and I will get contacted? Would that be something Mrs. Ross, I guess she doesn't have a computer, but
She do have an inside.
she has an inside toilet, and that's very important. Yes, but thank you, Mr. Ross. That was very...
And I apologize, I can't respond to the computer IT's been working on that, along with the animal control staff. And I cannot explain it to you.
Okay, Mr. Leibel?
The IT department is developing a program right now that our service officers, when they're in the field and they've come across a stray, it is uploaded instantly online. Goes online, so first of all, the owners hopefully will recognize their lost dog and be able to redeem it. Secondly, if there's somebody interested in this breed, they show interest and they'll be able to hit a hold button. We're trying to get credit cards where we can accept them and this sort of thing. So the ultimate goal is to get to no kill. Right. So we can apply for grants that will help us build a new animal facility outside of the landfill. And we're working very hard to do that. We've got a way to go. We've had a glitch here. I'm not sure what happened. There were no names, as you just heard. I called Mrs. Ross and did the best I could trying to alleviate it. I did have Mrs. Suarez call you, and it still didn't work out. And I apologize to you again. I don't like what happened, but be assured we're really, really trying to make this department number one. And
Come forward so we can get you on tape, please, Ms. Ross. Come to the mic.
Wait till you get to the microphone, Ms. Ross.
I
There you go.
apologize.
There you go.
About if you lost your dog, and from what Mr. Hammonds is saying, tough noogies. I mean, if you lost your dog and Nora comes to pick it up, is she to tell everyone that this is, I pick up the dog and
Take that.
Okay.
and it's gone once it leaves her? She has, I mean, I don't even know if she knows that. She's been an amazing, we've had lots of animals. I don't know what it is about my corner. I have a no vacancy sign right on my front gate, but they don't seem to listen to it or read it. But I have had my share of stray cats and lost dogs and what do? You can't let them go, and yet you don't want them killed. And if you lost your collie or whatever, you'd want to be able to call, and maybe the babysitter left the door open and the dog's gone. Does that mean the dog is gone? You have no way to get it, and that's what I'm hearing you say.
That's not what is being said. So let's talk about that a little bit more, Commissioner Leibel.
That I just talked about the technology,
Right.
and that is the fastest way to reunite an animal with its owner. I mean, with the technology we have today, we shouldn't be running into this incident.
Okay.
What we have is a breakdown in jurisdictions. The city of Palatka, we're doing this in the city of Palatka. I'm not sure what they're doing. I don't want to say they're doing anything wrong or right, because they're just not participating. I haven't seen a representative from the city in our animal services meeting in the 6 months. I don't know how long I've been back, but in that length of time. They used to come a lot, so they're not up to speed of the services and amenities that we've brought to this department to better it. And I hope to change that. I really do. But you got caught in a
Well,
situation. We're also, to defend Ms. Suarez a little bit, we've been accused at the shelter of not having qualified personnel. And some of it's true, some of it's not, but that's not what I'm here to defend. What I will defend is we've got this new department head that we are sending over to Daytona Beach Community College to be trained in the latest and greatest animal shelter management practices, and that goes for everything. And that's what we're doing. So Ms. Suarez is out a lot and being trained and brought up to speed, and it will have benefits down the road.
Well, there must be a reason this happened to me, and it's nice to meet all of you, and I'm sorry.
I try to find your dog.
Yes, I know
that
you did.
wanted. I can't find a thing. It was rescued as the good news, though.
Yeah.
And a very reputable facility it went to.
Well, you just have to put your faith in God that he's being taken care of and that he's got a nice family, but it's.
Ms. Ross.
I hope it doesn't happen to me again.
Well, Ms. Ross, we don't want the experience to be duplicated or repeated for anyone. And so there's several things that's good that will come out of this dialogue.
I think so.
I believe that the lack of having a formal agreement and understanding with the City of Palatka and how that needs to be a cooperative relationship, and it's not that people are opposing each other. It's one that the right hand and the left hand is not synchronized to know exactly what's what. And our director will bring to us what is recommended that we can strengthen the relationship, because again, if all they're doing is the enforcement side of either picking up and delivering, then once the delivery takes place, then the county's rule apply and not the city's. And so it's just a matter of us having the dialogue, having the discussion, and strengthening that. Ms. Rekowitz, come forward as you are standing there. So I think that it's not a blame game here. I think it's a matter of accepting responsibility. One thing that I have a zero tolerance for, and that's an individual that may or may not know precisely how to exercise a good customer service skills. There, we do have to deliver customer service, and it has to be AAA, no less than that. And there are times that all of us are tried. I'm tried writing this meeting room more often than I choose to be. And while all of us are human, what we are certainly seeking to do is to lead by example. And there are times that our citizens do pretty much make punching bags out of us, and we don't want them to be exposed to that, but we also reciprocally do not want our staff on any level to dishonor anyone there. And so we do have supervisors who are very competent in that area to make sure that everyone concerned know that there's a zero tolerance from this board as well as the administration of Putnam County for anyone that would dishonor or disrespect any of our citizens. And we just ask you to bear with us so that we can make sure that wherever the weaknesses are and wherever the situations that are not favorable towards our citizens, we will definitely get to the bottom of it and we will fix it.
Well, as old as I am, and I'm not very old, I'll tell you.
Bless you.
This is the first time. And so, the first time I've ever had to do this or ever been this way. So that's a good thing. And I like all of you listening to me, and I have to feel good that the puppy's in a safe place, and I'll have to do the sign over again. Please, no vacancy, but they don't, the puppies and the kitties don't seem to read. I should have married a vet, really, I should have.
Bless you.
But
Bless
I
you.
didn't. So
Bless
thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ross.
All right. Director.
And I'm sorry, one other comment. Under county's rules, all dogs over the age of 6 months are supposed to be licensed. And if they've got that license tag on there, that'll help us find the owner.
Yeah.
So please.
I agree.
Exactly. So let's
have that thing licensed so we can find that.
There is a safety net that's already built into the equation so that we are not having to do the added research.
That doesn't include the microchip, too. It will go a step further than that.
Absolutely.
You'll
Thank you so
certainly
much.
get your animal back.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Morning.
I just wanted to let you know I've retired after 25 years for a veterinarian.
Bless you.
Okay? Plus, I worked in the medical field for humans.
Okay.
Okay. If the dog was picked up, I'm sure they got the phone call and they had to go somewhere to get it, right? Is that not logged somewhere?
The city of
City.
Palaca, again, Ms.
Different
Rutherford, it wasn't
jurisdiction.
us.
Okay, well, all I'm suggesting is, because I worked my way up in the ranks, if we had a patient that was transferred to another center, we made sure those records were sent with them, but we also kept a log. Okay, so maybe when that puppy was sent to wherever he went, St. John's, wherever he went, we could have logged that, and they could have went into the log. All I'm trying to do is present something to kind of help so they don't get lost. Okay, and Mr. Lible, the chips, unless you take that dog to a vet, there's no way to know. They are not on satellite yet. Those chips are put in because I've done it daily.
Right, we have a scanner, though, at the
I understand you have a scanner.
multi-scanner, too.
Right. But always remember, if that animal is taken in by somebody else and they take it to a vet and they don't ask for it to be scanned,
I agree. But it helps.
it helps, but it's far behind. Trust me, after 25 years, it's far behind. It's time. It
All
needs
right.
to get bigger. But I just thought maybe with me telling you, and I'm not telling you how to do your job or anything like that, just to let you know that there is a way to track them.
And again, we recognize that there is a interlocal agreement that needs to be strengthened and a memorandum of understanding. And I think, just as I was sharing, Ms. Ross, that good does come out of adverse situations. And I believe in our leadership and that we will be in a position for this not to be repeated. So thank you so much.
And always remember, I work in the field, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
A phone call back,
Yes, ma'am.
if you don't have an answer, still pick up the phone and say, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer. Give me a little bit more time. I will call you back.
Thank you for the
It's
lesson.
just a phone call.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move past this issue. Do you have something else, ma'am? Yes, I want to speak on the issue. Okay, this issue is, as far as I'm concerned, it's resolved, but if you've got something that you feel that we need to know or you need to tell somebody else.
I'll send it to you in writing.
Okay, that'll be wonderful. Thank you so very much. Okay, thank you again, Ms. Ross, and thank you for all who have shared with us. And again, whatever that will make us better and more efficient, that's what we want to do. Item 12, Mr. Franklin Owens with the towing issue. Mr. Owens, please come forward.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir, for 12 more minutes.
I'm here at the request of Crescent City Towing Service.
Say that again, sir.
I'm here at the request of Crescent City Towing Service.
You representing them?
No, I'm representing myself, but at their request, I'm here because of this resolution
Okay.
and this. I was robbed of $155.
Okay.
And it all consists of, there are 4 people here that was in the original circumstance of this.
Page 143.
I think we have copies of, is that something new?
I don't know. I think it's on the front page of what we have.
Just some additional pages.
Same thing.
What's on the other page?
There's other things.
This is in your agenda.
Okay. We have that information that was put in our agenda. Mr. Owens, your subject matter is Putnam County regulation of towing fees, and you have the reference numbers pertaining to abandoned vehicles. Tell us what happened and what you think should be done to fix it.
Well, what happened is what happened here.
Okay?
And what happened here
So you have a road service ticket from Crescent City Towing.
yes, if you'll turn through there, you'll see the towing ticket.
I see the towing. I see towing charge, $125. I see storage of $75, and then I see an administrative fee of $155 for a grand total of $355.
And everybody calls it I've talked to 3 county sheriffs, 2 highway patrolmen, and Mrs. Gonzalez, the head of the thing. And they all say that this towing service had the right to charge me this $155.
That's a question.
But all the stipulations were taken out of 2004-21 and 8 pages deleted from that. And the 8th page that was deleted, the rest of it was deleted out from the 8th page, and everybody calls it a civil right. I have a right to go here to the courthouse, pay a certain amount of money to go to small claims court, and whoever's there finds in my fault, I have to, to me, then I have to turn around and go and file another paper, another paper. When this guy dies, I can get my $155 back. I'm not here for myself this morning. I'm here for the rest of the people in Putnam County.
Okay, so you think that Crescent City Towing...
I know he stole my money.
Okay, and so what do you want us to do about him stealing your money?
I want this resolution changed here.
Okay,
You know,
this
does anybody know what a resolution is?
Okay.
Could you, Mr.
Tell us the resolution, tell us what in the resolution...
I've got questions here, Brother Carl, that I need to get answers to.
Okay.
And I'm not leaving until I get them.
Okay, well, we're going to help you get the answers,
You're going to
but...
have to get on the same line here of what's happening and going on.
Okay, Brother Franklin, I want to know what in the resolution causes you to think that the county has anything to do with your issue with this owner of this towing company.
Let me get over here to the beginning. Get over here to the grammar school before we go to college. Now, let's see here. You may not have this page. But anyway, in this here, it describes very sincerely what a tow truck is, right down to the cable and to the hookups and to the chains.
Yes, sir.
But when it gets over here to where the money part is, it leaves it to be interpreted to people that are reading it and interpreting it. If you read what was in this here, in this paper, if you read it right, it says that this brother does not have the opportunity to charge me $155, simply because it says in, where's it at? The first page.
Page 142.
Anyway, where that section 713-78. Can you tell me what that consists of? 7 different things on that first page. 7 different things. And this here consists of 713-78 and nothing about the abandoned vehicles. Nothing in either of these resolutions or in this about abandoned vehicles. My vehicle was not abandoned. It was towed in at the request of an officer. I went Saturday morning to pick it up, and the gentleman wanted to charge me this $155, and I said, sir, you don't have the right to charge me that administrative fee.
Mr. Liber, just a moment.
Mr. Owens, just a minute. I'm going to try to help drill down here. If you guys go to 143, pages 143, in the second paragraph, you're going to find in our ordinance in the county, administration fee charged after 48 hours of holding a vehicle of $155.
See, it was 7 days before.
Well,
In the first one, in the 2004-21, it was 7 days.
well, it says 48 hours.
And there again, if my vehicle would have sat there over the weekend, he would have had the right to do that. But this resolution simply says that he has to file a...
We agree with you, Mr. Owens.
He has to
You
go
went
through
the very next morning and got this.
Let me finish.
The operator of this business illegally charged you $155 administration fee.
Huh?
The operator of the business illegally charged you $155.
No, he did not. He robbed me, sir.
Okay, robbed you. It's all good, but
and he robbed me because of this resolution that you signed, sir. Because it leaves such a broad opportunity to rob somebody.
Well,
Okay.
I'm not a college-educated guy. I've got a 7th grade education, but when it comes to street smart, I get A's.
Okay.
Because I'm a street smart person.
All right, sir.
And the reason I'm talking loud, because if anybody left in here, I want you to be sure to hear what I got to say.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Commissioner Harvey, Commissioner Harris.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I have a question for the attorney. I'm sorry. Mr. Castleberry.
Tell me on that first page.
Mr. Owens.
Order, Mr. Owens.
Just a moment.
He has the floor.
This commissioner is speaking, and he's speaking to the attorney. So if you listen, then we're going to get to some resolution.
I'm hard of hearing. That's the reason.
Okay, we're going to talk up. Y'all talk up.
All right, Mr. Castleberry, if you could explain something to me. When I was reading this and studying it, it did look like it was a $155 fee, flat fee. But in our ordinance, it looks like he has to do, to receive that $155 fee, he has to do certain things: certified mail, newspaper advertising, record searches. Am I correct in reading it that way?
Yes, my confusion is, I'm not sure if the $155 that this man was charged was the $155 administrative fee under our Resolution 2010-05 that reimburses these towing companies for the cost of providing various notices or not.
Right.
If that's the case, that's one thing, or or was the 155 purportedly some charge for storage over a certain length of time?
So you're in agreement that our ordinance, it's not a flat fee that someone can just add to it. They have to perform certain services to add to that. For what we spell out.
For what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
In Resolution 2010-05, paragraph 2B.
Okay.
It says they can charge the cost to provide statutory notice for liens, et cetera, and there is a limit of $155, but it is a reimbursement of actual costs.
Thank you.
Now, but I'm not sure that that's what this $155 charge represents to this gentleman or not.
Yes,
Because I
sir.
heard Mr. Lible say something about charge for holding it after a certain period of time. I thought I heard that.
That's it.
With all due respect, Commissioner Harris, do you want to defer to Commissioner Lible, or are you ready?
I'm okay. Go ahead.
Everything was just discussed and verified and clarified really hinges after a time limit of a vehicle being stored.
Right.
Then the $155, I've been over this, $155 can be applied to offset those expenses endured by the operation of the record service or the record service company.
But it's not our intent, though, just to give them $155.
Not at all.
They have to
Not at
prove
all.
they went through these
Well,
costs.
first of all, Mr. Owens has to exceed that time limit, and he
Right.
did not.
He did not. That's correct.
He shouldn't have
Okay.
ever been charged with it.
So do you think that the owner or the entrepreneur of the towing is misinterpreting the ordinance?
I do.
And then this person is being penalized?
I do.
I think a courtesy notice for clarification, and then it becomes the owner's issue to resolve this in a diplomatic manner there, so that we don't want Mr. Owens to think that we are aiding or an accessory to this person's charging you this fee. If they choose to charge you, then again, our forum has not enabled them to do something that is against the law.
This year did it.
We're saying that this person is out of compliance with the ordinance. We're not saying
Compliance
that.
with this ordinance because it has not been properly figured out, and it did not charge me any county taxes. Is he supposed to charge county taxes, brother? On this?
No.
He did.
He know he did? Then he cheated you too?
State taxes, sir.
And out of his own mouth, he told me, he said, I charge everybody that $155 fee.
Well,
I said, you can't.
Attorney?
And the $155 charge he's talking about is the one that's referenced in our resolution about providing notices?
What's that, sir?
Is the $155 fee that he charged you that one in our resolution?
Yes, it's right there. Yes.
That cost for statutory notices.
Okay.
The cost for statutory notices.
Since store notice, guess what? I ain't never got it.
Okay.
Well,
I ain't never
fine.
got it.
I ask you a question, sir.
Told me I have his own map, had 10 days to send it to me. 10 days, at that same day, I had my vehicle. And I still ain't got the registered letter, and I even sent him one to requesting my certified letter, and I still ain't got it.
Well, Mr. Chairman, it appears that at least this company is automatically charging this $155 fee, which is contrary to our
Well,
ordinance.
sir, can you read and find that to where that it will say that they cannot charge that?
Okay.
It's already
Somehow-
there.
somehow?
It's already there.
Mr. Owens,
It's already there.
Mr. Owens, we are in agreement with you that the fine does not apply. Council, is there a way for the county to send all of the towing companies a clarification to make sure, and then encourage them to settle their issues with their customer base? And then that to me is the diplomatic way for us as a county to do it. It's across the board.
Absolutely.
Does everyone concur?
The fee should not be titled to a car that's tagged, insurance, and drivable on the road. This impact fee is created simply because somebody, a secretary, has to get online because a vehicle has no title, has no registration, no tag. They don't know who it belongs to.
Mr. Owens,
That's what and that's what this resolution is
Mr.
all
Owens,
about.
no, sir, Mr. Owens, apparently this company, and maybe there are others who are misinterpreting the ordinance.
Well, it needs to be fixed where they can't misinterpret it.
Okay, well, we're going to send them a clarification, and we're going to also make sure that you get a copy of what we're sending them, so that you can go back, after they get the letter, you can go back and hopefully get this resolved.
Well, I'm going to go back nicely and ask him for my money, just
Okay.
like I told him nicely he didn't have the right to charge me that.
Okay, well, he will also get a notice from the county through our legal department that we agree with you that the fee did not apply to you. So we'll have that letter, so give us a few days to prepare that letter.
Well, now, wait a minute. Let me get right here. Where does it say? I got my papers all messed up. Just,
Brother Owens, Mr. Owens,
yeah.
we will meet with you after this meeting with the attorney, so you will understand that he's going to clear it up, and then it's up to them to settle up with you. But we will clear it
If I
up.
don't get cleared up, guess what?
What?
I won't be back.
Yes, sir. Well, we don't want you mad there. We're glad you're not mad right now. But we will clear it up, sir. But it's not the issue is not the ordinance. The issue is his interpretation, or the company's interpretation of the ordinance.
They should not be left any personal interpretation.
That's why we're going to,
Should not be.
Yes, sir. The attorney's going to fix that. Okay?
But anyway, in this ordinance says here, it shall be added to any vehicle.
That's if
Page 2, Section 2B, last part, $155 for any particular vehicle towed.
No, sir.
That included my vehicle that was tagged and licensed.
What is he reading?
That's
What
the way
are you
that's the way I
reading?
interpret that.
What are you reading? What page?
That's exactly the way I interpret that.
That you have to read the whole paragraph in order for it to apply.
I did. I read the whole paragraph.
No, but you're taking the
And that
last.
part defines the whole paragraph.
No,
brother.
sir.
Yes,
No,
it
sir.
does.
You got the same issue that he have. He's taking part of the sentence and he's charging you. So you need to have our understanding so you can get your refund. Okay? We will communicate with you. We have your information. We will follow up with you, because you're right in your assessment of not being charged for this. But it's not a flaw in the law. It's a misinterpretation of the law.
I don't blame you for standing up while you passed, brother. I don't blame you at all. And I thank you for doing that.
Okay.
But sometimes when we're wrong, we're wrong.
Okay.
But one last question.
Okay.
How did chapter 713 of that first page, the last paragraph on that 713-78, how did it get the welfare of dogs and animals in the conditions of First page, brother.
What's your page look like?
The one with the laws on it that I got off the internet.
Okay, that's the paper he gave you, Commissioner, up there.
First page. First page in your packet.
He downloaded.
There it is.
Okay, you have an advisory opinion.
Yeah, the original copy of, that was on the front page,
Got a state
behind the,
ordinance, a state statute.
I got it here someplace, but.
Okay, the state statute is what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Right here?
Right here. And the other one, there's two of them in there consist of that.
Okay.
And the mistake of the program is that the section 173-78 consists of 7 different things, and number one of them, which consists of the abandoned towing, is 705-103, and it's not mentioned anywhere in any of this paperwork.
Okay.
So this 713-78 consists of all of it.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, you took a law that was already in existence and borrowed the number off of it.
Mr. Owens,
Yeah.
that statute you're quoting pertains to abandoned vehicles, left behind, not claimed. Then they could start that $155 charge to send out the proper
Well,
notices.
he sent me that, and he sent me
You
my
weren't under
money
that
back.
category. You redeemed your car the very next day, and he was wrong to charge you this. Again, he really
Well,
was.
I don't know, I don't call that wrong, I call that robbery.
Okay.
If I just conveniently walk by your car, brother.
Okay.
And seen $150 there.
Okay,
And I write you, I owe you, that I took your $150?
Mr. Owens.
That would be robbery.
Mr. Owens, we will prepare a letter that will verify that the ordinance is not being followed by the owner. You will have that letter, and it is our prayer that you will also get your refund. Okay, so,
With interest.
We can't do that.
okay, all right. Let the record reflect
Plus,
that
time
Franklin
and
Owens
aggravation.
want his refund with interest.
Personally,
Okay.
I'd like to see the guy out of business.
Okay,
Period.
all right, well, the publicity that maybe he's getting through you is going to open his eyes one way or the other, and the citizens will decide. But thank you so much for your presentation, and you will be hearing from us, and then hopefully you and him will be able to sit down and you get your check with
Well,
interest.
you mentioned that we wasn't going to just run off, we was going to get together right at the meeting here and straighten this out, or I got to come back?
Well, we will call you because we have enough information for the attorney to go ahead and draft the information, and we're not going to limit it to his company. We're going to send it to all of them. So everybody will know.
I don't think all of them is guilty, because I've visited
Well,
several of them.
we're not gonna take a chance
We have
on-
the right to do that, but
Yes, sir.
under the right circumstances.
Yes, sir. Well, we're not going to take a chance on anybody that may be duplicating the efforts of this one company. But thank you so much for your time, and we will definitely follow up with you and
But
get it
once I get
resolved.
that letter, I'm going to take it to him and
Take
request my
it,
money
take it
back.
to him and request your money with interest.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you again. Yes, sir. God bless you.
Let it go out of business.
Okay, and all of the above. Okay, I appreciate that. Good dialogue. Item 13 takes us to our county administrator. There's some discussion about various appointments.
We listed most of these appointments there for your information. They don't expire till June the 30th, but you do have the Value Adjustment Board, and we sent you some information this week about the need to appoint one additional person to the Citizens Advisory Task Force from a low and moderate income category. We need you to make that appointment by no later than April the 28th because we have some public hearings scheduled leading to the filing of an application for a CDBG grant, public hearing that will be coming up first meeting in May. So if you can look at that list of individuals that we sent you and come up with the name of one person to appoint to that board to fill the position of Alex McCoy. Because one of your appointees, Ms. McLeod, she doesn't fit into the category of low and moderate income, so she can replace Mr. McCoy
technically, and now we need somebody from the LMI category. So if you'll look at that listing and
We can make
come
that
up with the
happen.
name of an individual for next meeting, we appreciate it.
Okay. Mr. Harvey, do you have any appointments?
I do not, sir.
Mr. Pelletier?
No, sir.
Ms. Harris?
Yes. District 1, on the library board, Susan Frazier. I've talked to her, and she would like to continue serving, so I nominate her.
Entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion? All in favor of the library board appointment for District 1, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Any other appointments? Commissioner Harris?
Oh, no, that's all, thank you.
Commissioner Lible, appointment.
I have, no, I'm working on both the Fair Board and the appointment Mr. Leary was just speaking of.
Okay. I have an appointment for the Value Adjustment Board, Rudd Jones. Entertain a
I need to talk to Mr. Jones to see if you did. Okay, sir, go ahead. Good deal.
I make a move, we appoint Mr. Jones to the Value Adjustment Board.
Have a proper motion and a second. Further discussion?
Second.
Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, Mr. Leary, anything else, sir?
Nothing further, thank
Okay,
you.
County Attorney.
No, sir. We
Clerk?
have no items.
District 1, Commissioner. Anything?
No.
District 2?
I like our new seal. I want to thank
beautiful.
you for
Oh, yes.
spearheading that. It was
Wonderful.
much needed on that wall, and thank you for
Yeah.
making that happen.
Wonderful. We need to represent Putnam County when we're here. District 4?
Yes, sir, I have a few things. We had a great Relay for Life last weekend. I'm getting too old to be up all night long. I did go home and take a bath and sit in the chair, and I'll never do that one again. I've learned my lesson. Just stay up and do it. But it was a wonderful event, and we raised a lot of money for cancer, and that was a wonderful thing. After that, I went to the Putnam Hall Memorial Loop Walk. So I've had quite a bit of opportunity over the last few days to walk. I think I'm just going to not walk for a little while. But that was a good time, and I did give greetings in the name of the county commissioners. Save Rodman Bass Tournament is coming up this weekend. We'll have a pontoon boat for anyone who would like to come out and take a tour of Lake Ocklawaha Rodman Reservoir. And that finishes that. Sure. I have to mention that our chairman did play the drums for one song at the Relay for Life, and we have that on video and on pictures, so it cannot be denied. Right, Mr. Chairman?
Guilty as charged. District 5.
From the days of the drum major at Central. I remember seeing those I was a young lad.
I was there.
Saturday, St. Paul's Episcopal Annual Fish Fry, 10 a.m. Oh, no, I think they start at noon. Gospel music, a lot of food and a lot of fun. I'd like to see everybody come out there again, be with Larry and the rest, I guess, at the bass tournament. And just so happy that the citizens saw the benefits of Better Place and what greater good it has done. More than, is it perfect? No, but it certainly has done a lot of good in a lot of places. And as I heard someone say, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So it's not perfect, but it certainly, there's a lot more good there than bad. If I'm correct, it carried 30 out of 39 precincts. So definitely a show there that most folks thought that it was a good thing and has been a good thing for our county. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Also, the U-Turn event, my understanding is likewise scheduled this weekend.
Too much
there, and it's a lot going on, and I want to certainly appreciate each of you in your respective places, because, as I said to others, we cannot be in but one place at one time, and when one of us represents, all of us are represented, and certainly I'm extremely grateful for that. And again, to all of our fine citizens for allowing us to serve. Thank you. At this time, this meeting is recessed until 5:30 p.m., where we will continue by picking up the single issue of the Solid Waste Advisory Board final report. That meeting will be a presentation of the report and also the minority report that goes with that, and it's mainly, again, the official presentation of the report. We will not engage in deliberations and discussions and decisions there. If there are some specific questions about the report, then certainly while we have the chair presenting, there, and we are expecting the advisory board to be present, but that's where the dialogue will be. We are in recess.